Good evening and welcome to Fan TV. It's Thursday night and usually you'd be tuning in to watch the hairy one. Well, I have no idea where he is and quite frankly, I don't care as it means I get to do a Thursday night show for once. Yes, Justin Lee Collins can't be with us and so you have me, Toby Tarrant, taking you all the way through until 10 o'clock tonight instead. It appears that the hashtag Tarrant Out campaign has ground to a halt and I am well and truly here to stay. Sorry about that. Funnily enough, I was here last night as well, so welcome to Toby TV. I shouldn't have to tell you, but it was a fantastic show. Of course it was on my watch. And Watford fans Andy and Bradley kicked us off by discussing forged bank letters and club finances. Bradley nearly burst into tears, but he managed to hold them back, just about. I promise I thought he was going to cry at one point. The Leeds Massive were back and seemed more concerned with getting their train home than talking to me. Clive, Mark and Arthur caused mayhem as they tried to hang their flag across the back of the lime green sofa and then made a clean sweep on our Peter Ramage game. Of course, they won absolutely nothing for their efforts, but well done anyway, boys. We don't have the budget for prizes yet, but one day. And as always, we took the mickey out of Jack from Football Fancast for getting all of his predictions wrong last week, and then we asked him to give us some more for this week as well. He brought Newcastle fan Johnny with him as we have bullied James so much that he's no longer joining us on the lime green sofa. However, we soon discovered that Johnny was actually a closet Southampton supporter, so needless to say, we took the mickey out of him as well. Then Gianluca popped up from behind the sofa where apparently he now lives, ever hopeful that he'll be invited onto the show, and he talked literally non-stop for 15 minutes about Serie A. I reckon that boy breathes out of his backside. I don't know how he breathes for air, it's ridiculous. And then it was Europop all the way through until 10 o'clock with our Southampton fans Mark and James. So they brought us in their music video for Southampton in Europa, which we literally can't get enough of here at Fan TV. If you're very, very good, we might just play it again sometime soon, but not tonight. Please, not tonight. I can't do it again. Mark was, of course, the one wearing the beret, in case you're wondering. That was what happened last night here with me, Toby Tarrant, the host of Toby TV. Let's have a look at the best bits. You seem upset about the thing. You seem worked up about it. You seem worked up about it.
Yeah, they've got a way around everything, Italians. So yeah, go on. Sign a load more loans.
See you, mate. How you doing? Good to see you.
But I have to say, last night, I felt things inside me that I haven't felt.
Well, I don't want to hear about your personal life. I don't want to hear about your personal life. We're going to go to a break where you're going to stop talking about that filth for one moment. Did you envision that before the kickoff?
Well, we were very.
Who's that in the background? Somebody just walked. What? There's a ghost. You have a ghost in your house.
He's live on television.
Come join us, Angela.
She's making her exit, I think.
Cup of tea on.
What's she doing? What's she doing? Dancing.
This is serious TV.
This is our song. Slap it on, John.
There you go. I could have done it better than that.
Southampton in Europa. Southampton in Europa. Southampton in Europa. Southampton in Europa.
Grant Bertrand's out, Matthew Targett's out. You go, oh, they've got a left-back crisis. You bring in Sam McQueen, third-choice left-back, go straight in against Inter Milan and Man City. Looks right at home straight away. What is in the water over there?
Serious calcium, isn't it? Serious
That's
calcium.
milk, I think.
We've got milk in our water. That's what it is. They've got great bones and great muscles and great agility.
Pep Guardiola said the exact same thing, that Fraser Forster is the best. I mean, why he went from Claudio Bravo? I'd have Fraser Forster over Claudio Bravo any day.
Say Pep Guardiola was going for the head and shoulders angle. It's a waste of time, isn't it?
He's not happy with life in Manchester. Apparently he's living in a £1,000 a night hotel, which must be tough.
He can't even go for a walk.
This is a picture of him arriving and checking in at the hotel. He really doesn't look happy there, does he, at all?
He's doing a bit of a Corbyn with the train, isn't he?
You've got some explaining to do to these chaps as well.
I mean, I can only apologise profusely for how we've acted.
It's okay.
I can only apologise profusely for Callum Chambers.
Sorry, some of that Southampton water. It's good stuff. Oh, that's good stuff. I recommend it. What a show. I drank that way too quickly. Give me a sec. We're live. I'll keep going. What a show that was last night. And what a host, eh? What a host. Easy on the eye. Doesn't get much better than that. That was last night. Tonight's going to be even better. Let's take a look at what's coming up. Tonight, we kick things off with Aston Villa fans Dan and Matt. They will be joining me here on the lime green sofa in just a few minutes' time. And then Burnley, Ken is back. Go on, Ken. Along with fellow Burnley supporter Jack, and Justin will be so disappointed he's missed Ken, who will of course be trying not to get arrested for jazzing off on the train on the way home like last time.
Come on, you Clarence!
We've got some lower league action with Leyton Orient fans Matt and James at around 8:30, and then we'll be rounding things off with West Ham supporter Ricky alongside Everton supporter Simon ahead of their lucky game on Sunday. Now, these lime green sofas are quite heavy, so we're hoping that the West Ham fan isn't going to throw them at any time soon. Hopefully that's not going to happen. There is also a rumour going around. Now, don't quote me on this. Don't shoot the messenger. There's a rumour going around that Kenny Ken has a rant up his sleeve. We'll be trying to get hold of him at some point tonight to find out if that is indeed the case. And of course, Dan, La Liga man, will be joining us for an update on the state of Spanish football. All that and loads more. I'm also going to nick some of Justin's games tonight, and who knows, I may even let this beard grow a bit longer in anticipation of nicking more of his shows. Let's kick things off with our first couple of fans. It's Aston Villa fans, Dan and Matt. Come on up. How you doing, mate? All right? How are we, chaps? You good? Sorry, my mouth now tastes of milk. It's disgusting.
Smells of milk.
Yeah, there's a smell of milk. Sorry about that. I won't get too close to you. I wasn't going to get too close to you anyway, being from Birmingham.
With the right side.
And we're off. The usual highbrow start. I'll tell you what, on a serious note, you've won 2 in a row. It's quite a good time to be an Aston Villa fan recently, isn't it? For the first time in God knows how long.
Heady days. It seemed like about 10 years since we last won an away game, and obviously we broke that duck, and then it's not very often we win at home nowadays either. So for us to win 2 games in the bounce and be 3 games unbeaten is unheard of. So yeah, good time.
It feels
for us.
really weird. Like, I don't know how it feels. I forgot how winning felt.
Yeah.
How to win at home and then win away.
Is it one of those where it happens quite a lot where teams, obviously at the time you're absolutely devastated when you drop out the Premier League, but it's kind of quite nice dropping down and winning a few games.
It is now. It wasn't at first, obviously. When we won one of the first 12 I think it was. It's a bit of a reality check, really, isn't it? Because obviously, in my time of being a Villa fan, we've only been in the Premier League, so to come down, it does still hurt a little bit. But I think hopefully now with Bruce in charge, he looks like he knows what he's doing. He looks like he can cajole the boys and get them together. I think hopefully we can get some better times ahead now. What
was going through your head when you drew 8 of your first 12 games, is it? 8 of your first 12? Because you just think one of those days, a goal has to go the other way, even losing a game, but to draw 8 in a row, it's unheard of, isn't it? What was going through your head at the time?
I mean, we always said that we had a curse or something, because it was literally every game something would happen and go against us, and we never had something our own way. But I think past few games stuff started to go our way, but I think in the past as well, like we played like 5 strikers on the pitch. It's no coincidence that we'll draw in 8 games, because we had the strikers, but we had no defenders. And obviously you're going to concede goals, which is what we did. Yeah. And we paid the price for it in the opening games, as you said.
It's a very tough league to get out of. We've seen a lot of huge clubs, and Aston Villa are a huge club at the end of the day, languish down in the Championship for a bit. How important is it to come back up quickly?
It is important, but I think obviously when we were in the midst of that bad run, I kind of accepted that it probably wasn't going to happen straight away, so I can kind of live with another year in the Championship. But like you say, if you stay down there too long, it's a dangerous place and it's a difficult place to get out of. I was hoping the Championship was going to only be a 1-season thing, and hopefully it still will be. But yet, like you say, you don't want to be stuck down there for a long period of time, because you look at teams like Leeds, and it's a long way back.
Yeah, you can disappear, it's true. Just quickly, I need to launch the first poll of the evening on Twitter at FanTVUK. Go and have a vote. It'll run for about an hour and then we'll reveal the results a bit later on. First poll of the night is, which is the biggest Midlands derby? Is it Villa Birmingham, Wolves Baggies or Derby Forest? Let us know on Twitter at FanTVUK. I know what you guys think the answer is.
Derby Forest big, isn't it?
Yeah.
Villa Blues all day.
It is, isn't it? It's. I went to University of Birmingham. I mean, it's a very big football town, and it's. You see equal measure. You know, some cities you go to, Manchester, you see a lot of City. You know, but it was really equal measure, almost split down the middle of Clarets or Blue Noses, isn't it? It's a huge derby.
I think it's probably 70-30 Villa fans in Birmingham. But I think the trouble is in the Midlands, especially like in the West Midlands, all the other teams, they hate Villa because Villa have obviously been the most successful team out of the lot. Villa aren't really bothered by too many of the other Midlands teams. It is the Birmingham derby. We hate them.
They're united by their hatred of Aston Villa.
Yeah, that's what happens. You get West Brom fans coming on the radio saying, "Oh, I'm backing Blues to beat Villa at the weekend," but really Villa don't care what the other teams do. We know with it.
You've got your history. You've got your history. We're going to take the first break of the evening, but we'll come back to that and we'll look ahead to a massive game this weekend. Again, if you want to tweet us at FanTVUK is the place to do it, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Stay with us. Don't adjust your television. Justin Lee Collins has not let himself go. Toby Tarrant in for him tonight, and I've taken over some of his games for the night as well. So, chaps, I don't know if you've been on with Justin before, but he does a little thing called the wash bag. Did he play this with you last time?
No, I was on the first one, so I don't think the wash bag
Early
was
days,
there then,
days, when we were still trial and erroring things, and somehow this made the cut. So we were really scraping the barrel. So the way it works is normally Justin Lee Collins is on here, and every week he steals a footballer's wash bag from the changing room, okay? And there's normally some clues in there as to who it belongs. But tonight it's a wash bag of a difference. So you guys can play along at home. Tweet us at FanTVUK as soon as you know the answer. Again, don't think we've got anything to give them, but you know we don't have a budget for that. But you know, just you get kudos. You get kudos from everyone here at Fan TV and on the Lime Green sofa as well. So the first clue of the evening, which one shall I go for? It's going to be this: an Alice band. There we go, an Alice band. That's your first clue of the evening. Still with the receipt on. Don't know why we didn't. We probably could have taken that off. But that's your first clue of the evening. So yeah, I think we're going to take it back tomorrow and get our money on it, back on it, because as I say, we are really strapped for cash here at Fan TV. Right, we'll give you another clue a bit later on, but tweet us at Fan TV UK if you think you know the answer. Let's get back to football and look ahead to Sunday, midday, early kickoff. I guess that's probably wise.
It's probably the right decision.
Probably wise.
The right decision,
yeah, although there may be a few people just topping up from the night before as well.
I'm sure there'll be a few that continue. Just carry on.
Have you missed this fixture? I know you played them last season, but was that one thing that when you went down, you were like looking forward to at all?
It's about the only thing you can look forward to, isn't it? Yeah, You look at it, and we had a depressing season last season, and we beat them in our worst season, I'd argue, in my lifetime.
Really?
So I think that to be able to play them again, I'm looking forward to it because it is the big one. It's the one that's the bragging rights.
When you got the fixture list, you must have looked out for that.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest one that you look for straight away. You look for that game. You look for the likes of Forest, Blues. Those are the games you look out for, definitely.
Yeah. Steve Bruce, what sort of reaction is he going to get from the Birmingham fans? Obviously, spent a few years there. It was a while ago now, but football fans have memories like elephants, don't they? They don't tend to forget.
I'm sure he'll get a big old applause. I'm sure they'll. I think he was joking about it himself in his press conference today. He's sure they'll roll out the red carpet for him. He's obviously going to get stick. I think it'll be quite polite as stick to Villa managers go. Because to be fair, he did do an okay job there, and he got them up. They hadn't been in the Premier League ever. He got them there, so they're obviously going to have some form of respect for him, but now he's managing the enemy, so it's difficult to know how it'll go, but hopefully it won't bother
we have our first Skype call of the evening. It's Ginger Luke. Do you guys know Ginger Luke?
Oh yeah,
we're aware of him.
You're aware of Ginger Luke. Hello Ginger Luke, how you doing, mate? You alright?
I ain't too bad, I'm all good, just a bit of a nervous wreck at the minute.
Yeah.
Coming up to Sunday's game.
I'm not surprised. Just talking to the guys there about what sort of reaction you're expecting Steve Bruce to get at the weekend.
Well, obviously they're going to come up with something plastic, aren't they? They've called him all the names in the book: potato head, fat head. Let's get something a bit original from them.
I mean, there is no smoke without fire. He does have a ridiculously shaped head in
Not anymore.
in their defence.
He's gone from a jacket potato to a roast potato. I think, to be fair.
I like Fat Dinner Lady. That's a fun nickname for him as well. That's another nice one. Sorry, Steve, if you're tuning in right now. I think it's fair to say he's going to get a tasty reception. I mean, it's shaping up to be a hell of a game, though, isn't it? I mean, haven't played each other regularly in the league for a while. Steve Bruce going back, it should be a cracker, shouldn't it?
Gary Rowett's a Villa fan as well, their manager. So yeah,
closet Villa fan. Do you know, I was reading about Gary Rowett. Apparently, he has a glass of wine whilst his players are warming up every single weekend. So literally at the ground, he has a glass of wine while his players are warming up. It's a midday kickoff today. He's going to be levered by about 1 o'clock.
It's working for him. He's a good manager, to be fair. I don't like to praise Birmingham too much, but he's a good manager and he has done a good job there, so he obviously works for him.
They've come a long way from the Lee Clark days, shall we say. They were in a real rut at one point, and Gary Rowett has turned things around there at the moment.
Yeah, he's done well.
Yeah. You've got to go to there. Is that a bit intimidating? How do you think your players who won't have experienced that sort of atmosphere before will hold up?
I think we have to keep our heads. I think there's a few in there. We've got a few hotheads. Alan Hutton, prime example. Mike Dean's the referee as well. He's always looking for the limelight, isn't he? So got to be really careful, I think, because if we're not careful, then we will get a few players sent off because we have got a few hotheads in there.
Do you agree with that, Ginger Luke? You've got a few nutcases in the ranks at Aston Villa?
Oh, definitely have, yeah. Definitely, big time.
Got a few in the terraces as well, Ginger Luke.
Yeah, there's loads in there. There's loads in the terrace. I'm sure it's going to kick off Sunday, but I'm not sure it's going to kick off as bad as it did West Ham last night.
No, yeah. I think that'll take some doing to top the seeds from last night.
I think West Midlands Police are going to come a little bit more prepared, trust me.
It's not difficult, is it? It's not difficult at all, rather than the £7 an hour guys that were charged with looking after the situation last night. Gut instinct on the game. If I were to push you for a result or even a scoreline right now, Ginger Luke, what would you say? What would you take and what would you predict?
I'm not going to go and predict anything.
Boo.
I'm just going to soak it all up.
Stick your neck out, Ginger Luke.
I'm going to soak it all up. Well, I did have a cheeky little bet this morning. Cardiff to score, Villa to win 2-1, 45-1.
Good bet.
Good odds. Yeah. You like
I'll
that?
take that.
Yeah, I'll rate that.
I'll bet if it comes true.
Yeah.
He said on our fan cams that Villa would win.
Oh, really?
About 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. So apparently 2 weeks ago, Ginger Luke, you were telling everyone else that Villa were going to win. Suddenly you get on Fan TV, you lose your bottle. What's going on, pal?
Well, I've had a bit of stick at work this weekend. I went into work Monday morning and all the blue noses are giving it. I'm just going to soak up the atmosphere. If we win, I'm just going to give them absolute hell next week.
I mean, it's one of those where there's going to be bragging rights up for the City, isn't it? It's going to be a huge Monday for somebody, for half of the fans anyway.
I'm glad I live in London.
Yeah.
I get them away from
I'm
it.
glad I'm in
away from
Nottingham
now.
for it. I'll be away from it. Get away
Nice.
from everything.
Just you, Ginger Luke, you've got to fly the flag for Aston Villa on the Monday by the sound of things.
I'll be flying the flag all week for Villa if we win.
you got a few months until the next fixture. Fly the flag all the way until then. Straight away, was it the fixture that you looked forward to when the fixture list came out?
It's not even the fixture, it's just the build-up all week to the whole game. You go to work, college, school, whatever, and this game, it just stands out. People say the Manchester derby's a big game. If I'm honest, the second City derby's bigger than Man U and Man City. I don't care what people say. If you go back 7 years ago, no one heard of the Manchester derby. Where were Man City? This is the big one. This is what it's all about.
I mean, you turned to me in the break and you said you think it's the biggest derby in the country, which will go down controversially, I'm sure. But you genuinely?
I do. I'd back that quite strongly. Yeah.
Really?
I think Manchester, Liverpool, perhaps the only thing that can rival it. I don't think that the North London derby is anything special in comparison to it. I think many derbies aren't as big as that one. I think Sunderland, Newcastle's up there as well, but nothing in England matches. I don't think the actual hate between the two clubs.
Yeah.
I think the thing that surprised me most from that was that Luke's got a job. That was the
You're getting abused there, Luke. What's your riposte, mate? They said the biggest shock there was that you have a job.
Well, that doesn't come as a shock to most people. It's not the first time I've heard that, but I'll take it for now.
Ginger Luke, mate, we appreciate you getting in touch as ever. Always a pleasure, never a chore. And where are you watching the game? You going?
Yeah, I'm going.
You're going?
Yeah, of course. I'll be there in spirit. I'll be supporting his team. I'll stand in for Matt and Dan Sunday. They'll be watching it on the TV. I'll be there.
We'll be watching on TV.
I think they'd be more nervous than me.
Sorry, what's that? I didn't catch that.
I think they'd be more nervous than me because in the stadium you just get lost in the atmosphere and you forget what's going on. Them two are going to be a nervous wreck when it's happening.
That's true.
You better remind him of the kick-off time though, because he did turn up about 3 hours early for a game the other week.
Is this true, Ginger Luke? You turned up for a game 3 hours early?
Yes, I had a really rough night on Broad Street and I completely forgot what time we were playing.
Where did you end up in Broad Street? I've spent many a day down Broad Street.
Where Gatecrash used to be, but it's been took over by a different company now. Prism.
No Gatecrasher. Is that still going?
No.
They got closed down.
Yeah, it closed down.
Yeah.
It's probably my fault. Sorry about that.
It's a different company now. It's a completely different club. Still a good night out. That's where I'll be Saturday night. And then
I'll tell you what, this weekend's
Sunday.
a great one down Broad Street because it's Halloween. There's something Broad Street on Halloween was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. There's something beautiful about seeing the killer from Scream and Ariel from Little Mermaid get into a taxi together at 4 a.m. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I'd love to see their children. Right, Ginger Luke, we are going to let you go, mate. But thank you for sticking your neck out and predicting 2-1, and good luck with your bet.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Fingers crossed.
Good luck at work tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be all right. Don't worry.
Cheers, mate. Ginger Luke, everybody.
See you later. Yeah.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad, isn't he, Ginger Luke?
He's a good lad.
Other than the reaction that Steve Bruce is going to get, what was the consensus? I know it's easy to say now he's taken 7 points for his 3 games, but honestly, what was the consensus when you first got him?
I think when he was first mooted, I wasn't thrilled because I think he's always been very good at getting teams up. But to me, I still think of Villa as being a Premier League team, and I think of Bruce has been associated with Birmingham. Not a big team.
That is a very good point. I mean, 5 games into the Premier League next season, when you're about to get relegated already, who's replacing Steve Bruce? Because that's what he does, isn't it?
Gary
Rowett. Lee Clark. But that's it, isn't it? He has a tendency to get teams up, and then he has struggled in the Premier League a few times.
But we need to get out of the Championship.
Yeah.
He's the crux of the situation, and he is very adept at getting teams out back into the Premier League. So he started well. You can't argue with his start. The last time Villa took 7 points from 9 games, I don't think I was even alive. So for us to have done that, he must have something about him. I think he's very good at keeping players on side. I think he's got people back on side, perhaps the last manager.
Yeah, I saw your goalkeeper Galini raving about him, saying he's given you so much confidence, which, let's be fair, has been lacking in
big time.
He lacked it majorly. Like, he had a few shaky and howlers in the early games. Like, he lost us about 9 points in the opening games as well. Galini did. So it's good to see you saying that, because Bruce is the guy I think that can take us up. I think I was one of the only people that said, well, as soon as Di Matteo was sacked, I said, get Bruce in, he's the man for us.
Really?
It's starting to pay off. A little bit smug about it. But
yeah. I didn't notice. He is kind of in that ilk of, I think, of people like Neil Warnock, Ian Holloway, Nigel Adkins is another one that did it as well a couple of times. I mean, that just get teams out of the Championship, and that's just, like we said, it's all about reacting quickly instead, not staying in that league for too long, isn't it?
It's a stupid league as well. If you think about it, a few weeks ago we were looking at the bottom. People were saying we were going to go down, and suddenly you win a few games. I mean, I think we're 17th at the moment, but we're 6 points off 6th. So the league it's a silly league. So anything can happen. But I'm certainly more confident than I have been over the last few months. Now Bruce has come, so I was wrong for not wanting him.
It is mad. I think statistically, I think it is the most competitive league in the world in terms of the point gap between first and bottom by the end of the season. I think it's spot on. We're going to take another break. I think we have a tweet as well at Fan TV UK. Thank you for getting in touch. Relevant to poll 1, they reckon biggest derby is West Ham versus Millwall. Come on, you are, as you can hear, we've got Millwall fans in tonight. That's our West Ham fan. He'll be a bit later on. He hasn't started throwing chairs yet, but he is holding a can of Carling, so there's half a chance it could happen in just a bit. And everybody, keep your wallets safe. Don't let coins get anywhere near him as well. If there's any small children around, don't let them throw coins at him. You know how they get. Right, we are going to take another quick break here on Fan TV. We're live on Sky 212. Facebook and YouTube, and thank you for getting in touch on Twitter. Don't forget, we're running polls as well, so go ahead and have a vote, and we'll see you in just a sec. Hi there, welcome back to Fan TV. I am in for Justin Lee Collins tonight, and here is what's still to come. Aston Villa fans Dan and Matt, hello Dan and Matt, that's you by the way, they'll be joining me here on the lime green sofa now, exactly now, and then Burnley Ken is back along with fellow Burnley supporter Jack. Ken has promised he is not going to jazz off whilst he's waiting on the subs bench. Can't make any promises, I'm glad that the cameras... We've got some lower league action with Leyton Orient fans Matt and James at around 8:30, and we will be rounding things off with West Ham supporter Ricky alongside Everton supporter Simon ahead of their game on Sunday. We're hoping Ricky will behave himself and not tear up our cushions here on the lime green sofa. There's also a broomer. There we go, that's your cue. That Kenny Ken has a rant up his sleeve, so we're going to try and get hold of him at some point tonight to find out if that is the case. And of course, Dan La Liga man will be joining us for an update on the state of Spanish football. That's what's still to come, but right now it's back to Aston Villa fans, Dan and Matt. I mean, we've got to keep talking about Steve Bruce, really. He's the big topic, obviously, ahead of this game, going back to his former stomping ground. He did come in when he said, he said promotion was still in their sights. And you said yourself, I mean, it's a crazy league. And sure enough, 6 points off. He also came on and said that players weren't fit enough. And since then, you've had an 80th minute winner and a 93rd minute winner. I mean, what did he do? Did he drink some Southampton milk? What happened?
It's possible.
It's possible.
Something's changed.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a team that concedes in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We've in my lifetime, we've never been a team that scores late goals, and for us to have done it twice in 3 games is unheard of. So he's doing something right.
That can't be actual fitness. It's got to be a mental thing, hasn't it? Because he can't have made them that fit in the time he's been there.
No, I do think it's mental. I think the fitness thing's covering up a wider picture, something else that's going on there. I do think that something wasn't quite right under Di Matteo, something wasn't quite right at all for a long time, but I think now he's sort of like seeing what's happened, and I think he's sorting things out. I think it's mental more than anything. It's a mental mind block. There's something in there more than fitness.
On the mental side of things, Robbie Savage came out this week, and he thought that might be your reaction to Robbie Savage. I think that's most people's reaction to Robbie Savage, to be fair. He came out and he said that over the years, in this Birmingham-Villa rivalry, that man for man, Villa were better, but that Birmingham had team spirit, desire and belief that made them play above themselves. So he reckons you had the better team, but Birmingham, through passion, have got the results. Is that unkind?
Is that why they lost 5-1 to us a few years ago?
2008, was it?
Is that why the last time Robbie Savage played Villa, he lost 6-0? Like, you know,
was that Derby days?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a hypocrite, isn't he? Nah.
Yeah, and he's got a dodgy Barnet, and that's coming from me, of all people. I mean, 2008, you did win 5-1. To be fair, they're now above you in the Championship. I mean, it's sad to see that they've done that.
They're used to it, though. They've been in that league virtually my entire existence, so they're accustomed to being in that league. Villa, we're not used to being in this position. I mean, when kids of neutral teams, they don't dream of playing for a club like Birmingham City. They'll dream of playing for a club like Aston Villa. So we're not used to it, but I'm pretty confident that we might not win at the weekend. I think draw probably is the most likely result, but I'm pretty confident that come the end of the season, the cream will rise to the top.
So regardless of the result, you'd still rather wake up on Monday morning an Aston Villa fan?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I'd rather have 5 toes than 5.
Let's go into the squad. We touched on the goalkeeper, Jalini, who's been blown hot and cold, shall we say. Obviously, Brad Guzan left you. Another guy, Jack Grealish. So he's going to miss the game on Sunday. It's the third game of his free match ban. Got done for a stamp. Bruce said the punishment was harsh because of who he is. Do you think that ever comes into the FA's thinking?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
The media have created this whole profile about him being this bad guy, and he's not. He's just been mistreated by the media, totally out of proportion. And I do think that, he may have stamped on him. I'm still undecided. I know he admitted it, but that's probably still less than the punishment. But I do think that he's been mistreated by the FA a lot, and he needs more protection in general by referees because he is targeted.
Do you worry about him? I mean, we've seen it so many times. I think of people like Ravel Morrison. You look at Berahino over in the Midlands as well, at West Brom at the moment. For so young, so talented as well, we see these talented players fall by the wayside all the time with off-pitch issues. Does it worry you? I mean, that picture of him lying in the middle of the street in Magaluf with NOS canisters and cigarettes behind him wasn't his proudest moment, was it?
No, it wasn't. But at the end of the day, that's the off-season. I can accept stuff.
Tenerife, apparently, I've been told me. Yeah, Tenerife. Much classier.
Dangerous place. I can accept stuff like that. And I think he is a target for the press. I think just because of the way he is. I think he's a bit cocky, but I think he's got every right to be cocky because I think he is a very good footballer and he clearly loves Aston Villa, which is the main thing I care about. I mean, not many players of his talent would have stayed and signed a bumper contract this season while we were languishing.
Do you think that people were afraid to go for him, though, in the summer? He wasn't even getting in the Villa squad by the end of last season.
He was rumoured with Spurs in the summer. I mean, I reckon there was interest there, definitely. It'd be lying if you didn't think there was interest in him because he's playing for England now, obviously, he's switched to England and Lions. And when he has played, he's played some really good football for us. And I think There's no shakes bones about it. He's a brilliant talent, and he just needs a bit of a run in the team, and he needs the press to be off his back. And I think when that happens, then a manager like Steve Bruce will blood him in quite well.
Are you a bit worried he's not come on as much as you'd hope? Because when he first, I remember, I can't remember who the manager was at the time, but they said, you know, he's the guy we have to build the team around with. And he's probably not the key player that perhaps you were hoping he would be by this stage, is he?
I think what you've got to remember is Aston Villa over the last 5 or so years, that is not an ideal environment for a player to be finding themselves, to be coming up through the academy and making their way in the first team. I mean, if you look around that squad over the last few years, there's been absolutely zero role models. We've changed manager every 5 minutes. It hasn't been a stable environment for a player to come up through the ranks. I think now Bruce is there. He's got the right kind of manager who will nurture him. I mean, you won't want to remember this, but when we played Liverpool in the FA Cup semi-final a few years ago,
I remember it sadly.
He ran the show, so he's shown that he can do it on the big occasion. I just think if he'd have been anywhere else now, like a Southampton, for example, his progress would have been much further along than it is now. But I think he's probably not been punished, that's the wrong word, but he's been held back because he's been at Villa in my eyes.
Was it the Villa semi-final against Liverpool that inspired you to copy his haircut?
I think I had it before that. I think the Peaky Blinders probably inspired me, more than that.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, that's Birmingham as well, isn't it? Do you think the Championship is a good place for him to get away from the spotlight? He said the press needs to leave him alone. He is a bit tucked away now. He's still going to get the odd headline, but it's nowhere near as big a spotlight as when you're in the Premier League.
He's still rated as one of the top England prospects in the next 10 years. The press are always going to be after him still. I don't think there's any way he can get away from that. I think wherever he plays now, he's going to have that behind him. But I think when he starts to play, let the football do the talking, you know, no worries for him, no worries.
Surely he's got to wear some bigger shin pads on the weekend as well for the Birmingham game.
He can't play.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, then
stamp-proof vest might have in the stamp-proof vest in the crowd.
Jonathan Khadija as well.
Good player.
£11 million, a few eyebrows raised at that point, but he's starting to look worth it now, isn't he?
He's a very, very good player. I've been surprised at how good he has been. He's just been, especially the last 3 games. I mean, we've been playing him wide, but we need to get him as the centre forward because he's got a lot of talent, he's got a lot of movement, he's good in the air, he's good on the floor, he's quick, he's got a good touch. I really think he's probably a Premier League player, and we've done well to sign him, to be honest.
I've never seen a 6'5" guy run so quick. It's ridiculous.
Really?
Like, he's got it all. He's got a lot about him, and I think we've had a bargain. Really, 11 million.
Really?
Seems frowned upon us, but I do think we've had a bargain there.
I mean, there's one other positive that's come out of the relegation that. I mean, the squad you went down with was dire. Let's be honest. It was an awful, awful squad, and you've managed to get rid of a lot of the deadwood on the way down, haven't you?
Johnny and Lescott going was I think.
When you touched on not many role models in that dressing room.
Exactly.
When Jolie Lescott's your senior pro, I mean, blimey.
We weren't miracles, really, to get rid of who we did. I'm surprised we managed to get rid of as many of them as we can.
Yeah, no, your team does actually look better for it. An interesting statistic came out in the week. I don't know if you saw this. Obviously, it's the League Cup games the last couple of days. That Aston Villa have the best League Cup record in England. You've got 128 wins and 43 draws in that competition. You're out of it this season, so that means no silverware for you this year, I guess.
Playoffs count as silverware?
Yeah, I guess I'll give you the playoffs.
we might go. I don't think we'll be winning the league or coming second, to be honest. If I was offered the playoffs now, I'd absolutely take it.
That's got to be the target, isn't it? Top 6.
I said at the start of the season, if I'd snap your hand off for 6th, and I'd still snap your hand off for 6th now.
100% think we'll make it. I do think we'll make it. I think we'll go on a good run now. I think a few games further forward. Teams will drop off as well. The likes of Barnsley that are starting to drop off already. Huddersfield, they won't maintain that. I think we will sneak up there. I'm 100% confident we're in the playoffs come May.
Yeah, it's interesting. I looked at Huddersfield flying at one point, and I actually looked, and they've not actually really beaten anyone that good yet, to be fair to them, and they're suddenly looking like they might drop down. So you want 6th. Do you think you'll get 6th? I mean, it's such a lottery of a league, isn't it? Do you think you can get in that top 6?
It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible.
Yeah. I'm going to be arrogant and say yeah.
Going to be arrogant and say, yeah, we'll get you back on later in the season when you're 15 and take the mick out. Take the mick out of you. Obviously not in the League Cup. I mean, is a cup run just so unimportant to you this season? Do you care at all about going on a cup run?
We're not going to win the FA Cup, or if we were still in it, the League Cup, it's not going to happen. Our bread and butter is the league, and we need to concentrate on trying to get out of this league. So the less distractions, the better for us, I think.
I've also been told in my ear to ask Matt if you're upset when your dad got sacked, and we have a picture here on Twitter. Was that tough to take?
It was a bad moment in my life. I've never been told about that, actually. I've never even realised. I like that.
It's a shame. Did he land on his feet? He's doing all right now, yeah?
Yeah, he's doing all right for himself, doing well. Working in the local corner shop, he's doing well for himself down there. Keep himself busy around the house as well.
Yeah, that's good. He's where is he gone? Is he
Nowhere. Pundit, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Pundit, I think in France.
He was an odd appointment, wasn't he? He's the last. I always think I look at Swansea getting Bob Bradley, and now I always think when you're at that bottom end of the Premier League, you want someone who's been there, done it, don't you? That would seem like a very, very odd appointment at the time.
I could see why it was done, and I actually did. I felt sorry for him because I think he had no hope from the start, and I actually quite liked him, and I think he will go on and be a good manager somewhere. But it's like we were talking about Grealish. Villa's not the place for you to be, especially when we're in the Randy Lerner late.
Yeah,
it's not the place to be at all.
He was captaining a sinking ship there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to let you guys go, but very nice to get you on, and good luck on Sunday. And
Thank you.
You reckon Ginger Luke said 2-1? What do you guys reckon?
3-0.
To Villa?
Yeah, God, it's not going to be. I'll go with Luke 2-1. A nervy 2-1.
A nervy 2-1 and a 3-0. Right, guys, well, thank you very much and good luck. And again, we'll get you back later on the season and replay those.
He's had one.
We are going to take a break here on Fan TV, and we're playing another one of Justin's games, which is Can I Have a Foul, Please? Where we give you the vowels. Here we go. Look at that, no expense spared on that boy, that bad boy. It's on Microsoft Paint, I think, that thing. So let's get the first vowel of the evening up. There we go. So if you can guess which player that is from those vowels, I can tell you that they were in action in the League Cup games over the last couple of days. That's your first clue. It's a bit of a tough one there, but it'll get easier as time goes on. Tweet us at FanTVUK if you think you know the answer. We're going to let the Villa fans go, but we will see you in just a couple of seconds. Cheers, guys.
Thanks,
Good to see you, mate. If you've been watching us so far tonight, now is the time to just crank down the volume on your telly just a tiny, tiny bit. He's dancing already. We've got a couple of Burnley fans. It's Ken and Jack coming our way. Come on, Ken and Jack. Come on. Good to see you, Jack. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. Hello, Ken. Hello, Ken. Come on, take a pop next to me. Come on, Ken. How are we, Ken? It's been a while.
Really good, yeah. It's been a while, yeah, since I saw you. I've seen Jason a couple of times, but...
Jason, is that the guy that's similar to Justin?
Yeah, Justin, that's the one, yeah. Yeah, he's identical to me, has a beard and silly hair, yeah.
That's the one, just checking. Well, Kyle, it's lovely to have you on the show.
You're more than welcome.
So last time that you were on, Ken, you and I had a bit of a wager.
Yes.
And you said to me that Andre Gray was going to score 20 goals by Easter. I think he's got two? Maybe one? One.
They've only let him play twice.
It's not my problem. You made the bet, Ken.
But we didn't reckon that you were going to bribe FA, did we? We didn't know that your tentacles move so mysteriously.
Look at the size of these limbs, mate. My tentacles reach wherever I want.
That's what happened. So you managed to get him a 4-match ban for a little tweet. Inoffensive.
Well, I don't know.
Well, you know, but 4 were a bit odd, weren't they? A bit heavy.
I have to admit, Ken, and I rarely agree with anything you say, but I did think the tweet was offensive. However, sets a very dangerous precedent, I think, going back to 2012, was it, that he sent the tweet? I mean, at what point the people start sabotaging it, and, you know, you've got Liverpool have got Manchester United on Sunday, so let's go through every single player's tweets ever and see if we can get them done for something. It does set a bit of a dangerous precedent, I do think.
The thing I was most concerned with was that he said he liked Justin Bieber. And that's an 8-match ban straight up. So.
You can forgive him for everything else, but liking Justin Bieber,
he's got to be punished for that sort of behaviour. So, you know, it's a shame that it's when he's with us. Not just Bieber, but yeah.
I mean, it should have happened at the time, though, shouldn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think it just shows the FA's top-down approach to things like that, you know. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, it's dangerous.
There's Luton fans watching tonight who will be mighty unsettled with this because they're coming after Luton next. They're going to give them the 4-match and then they're going to do Brentford, because you've got to be fair, haven't you?
But then Andre Gray's not playing for Luton.
Yeah, but he was at the time.
So what, they're going to call him up and say, by the way, Andre Gray can't play for the next 4 matches?
Absolutely, you'll get some Stevenage fan that'll say, yeah, we're playing for Luton, let's have him a 4-match ban.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to do it, aren't you?
I thought a big fine would have sufficed, he wasn't at Burnley, and then again, a fine. What's a fine to a footballer nowadays? On the weekend, though, hell of a result. Were you both at the game?
I wasn't, no.
Were you at the game?
Oh, I watched.
You were at the game. What were you doing in the 92nd minute when Scott Arfield won the game for you?
Is it okay to say having an orgasm?
Well, Ken, I mean, the way that live TV works is it's now been said. So,
just having an orgasm.
So even if it wasn't okay, I can't stop you.
No, but absolutely.
You were jazzing, were you? Jazzing all over the place.
All over Turf Moor. In fact, there must be a record.
I could smell something.
There must be a song title in there. Must have jazzing all over the world. There's got to be, hasn't there? You know? Well, you brought it up. Don't bring me into it.
You started.
I think you brought up the jazz.
Yeah, not me. That were you.
Right. Well, I did. Hopefully, instead of turning down your TV, you just muted it, and your children aren't in the room. Hopefully. But no, I can imagine that. I'd like to see Ken after a 92nd win. I bet it's a sight to behold, isn't it?
But in fairness, Arfield, that's a rose head shot, isn't it? The way it came back at him, the speed of it, and it just. It was a perfect shot, wasn't it?
See, I remember last time when you were telling me that Andre Gray, the way he shoots, you said it's boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was a...
half volley boom into the floor.
No, but you said Scott Arfield's one, there was a... You went for a different sound effect.
Against
Scott
Chelsea, didn't it? Did you remember the one against Chelsea when he just hits that sort of... But it is, isn't it? Where Gray, you'll see him on Sunday, Saturday, I beg your pardon, when Dyche does the master plan and brings him on in about 83rd minute. Just going back, do you remember the Chelsea game against Burnley? We're 2-2. Barnes on the tackle with Matic, who reacted and got sent off. Mourinho, in the press conference, match of day, he went, 23rd minute with this, 73rd minute with that, 85th minute with this. On Saturday night, he'll be saying, 94th minute, Burnley scored.
Andre Gray.
It's about time we had something on our...
Boom!
I'd love it for Mourinho did that as well. Yeah. Andre Gray, his ban is over. He's available, but is he going to start? I mean, you've played better without him, haven't you?
We have. I mean, there's no crime in saying that. I think Sam Vokes has filled the boots. I like the 4-5-1, and I think... not that he's going to struggle to get back in teams, he's a quality player, but it's not a shoo-in, definitely not a shoo-in. Yeah.
Is the change to, it's been a kind of 4-4-1-1 or 4-5-1, I guess, Sean Dyche, Is it a sign that Sean Dyche has maybe learnt from that first season in the Premier League where you got relegated and it was very much the same tactics every week and eventually you went down? Does he seem to have learned that you need to have a plan B or even plan C in this league?
I think so, yeah, absolutely. And it's, like you said, it's great to see him tinkering with the team and trying new tactics. But I quite like the 4-5-1. I think it plays more into Vokes' hands as a striker. Bit lucky on Saturday, bit of a tap-in. But no, yeah, it's good to see him trying different things, definitely.
Got to be in the right place at the right time.
I think it's fair to say, Toby, that Dyche is developing, is learning, is developing, is evolving. I think that's probably and is learning the ropes of the Premier League and is much more fluid. At one time, it was 4-4-2 rigid, first minutes at 94th. Against Everton on Saturday, you could see he was constantly changing it. 3 subs off. Arfield had a foul. Really, you would have thought perhaps he should have gone off. It should have took him off to protect him, to keep us with 11 men on pitch. He didn't. And of course, he got dividends. 3 subs, which I think the 3 subs sunk Everton. Everton sunk by 3 subs. I think that's what happened.
Really?
Yeah, I think Tarkowski was good.
As soon as he came on.
Yeah, I think he was sort of, bearing in mind he's a centre-half playing at centre-mid, I thought he was looked really good there, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was really
It's Mourinho in the other dugout against the Ginger Mourinho, as he's so lovingly known by the Burnley fans. I mean, at what point does Jose Mourinho become known as the grey-haired Sean Dyche? He's an absolute legend, isn't he, Sean Dyche?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, I think I'm quite positive for Saturday. I think we'll do well. Obviously, I had a big game yesterday. So yeah, I'm not too concerned. Look, we're not meant to be winning these games. We're not meant to be getting points from these games. But you know, United are on a funny run at the moment. They win some, they lose some. So yeah, I'm quite confident.
You confident as well, Ken?
Oh, ready for another orgasm, really. I can feel it coming on. I can't.
Multiple.
Absolutely. No, all seriousness is what he's done, and it's a good trick is this one, which not a lot manage. What he did, Championship team, don't forget, these Villa lads were saying how hard it is to get out at Championship. We breezed it, really. We won it, relegated straight back up, as champions. I know Middlesbrough were in it, and so were Brighton. But we did it. We were there. Dyche has done it. He brought in Jeff Hendrick, who wasn't really getting that much game time at Derby, Air International, and he looks the business. Stephen Defoe, believe me, when you watch this guy, and he wasn't even playing against Everton, but he is top
he's a
draw.
class act,
Oh, he is
Defoe,
class act. So you've got Marnie. Do you know anything about American football? Do you remember the refrigerator?
Other than it's really boring.
William Parry, the refrigerator.
No.
No, the huge guy. They called him the refrigerator. We've got Dean Marnie. I call him the washing machine, and trust me, he's going to rinse Pogba on Saturday.
Hey! I love it. I love
Marnie.
it. Dean Marnie, last time you were here on the sofa, I think, was it Vizé was with you? Mm-hmm. He said Dean Marnie was going to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, it might have been a little over-optimistic, but...
Yeah, he's going for the American presidency. Dean Marnie's going to get it.
Dean Marnie's got a chance against those two.
Somebody put on Claret's Mad, plug for Claret's Mad, that he should be in the England team, along with West Ham's cushion-throwing, coin-chucking Noble. No, that's the fans, not the players, sorry.
We have a Skype caller who is an Everton fan, I believe, on Skype. Jamie? Hello, Jamie, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us. We're just talking about the game last weekend. How gutting was that?
I can't believe I've come on. I love coming on this show, and I can't believe I've come on when there's Burnley fans on the couch. Come on.
I know, you've not timed it very well at all.
Listen to this. I've got a surprise for these Burnley fans. I've kidnapped someone.
Oh, what's this? What's this?
Hey, I've got his brother here, is it? What are you doing, nicking his twin?
I've got Bertie B. I've took him hostage. You're not having him back.
How the hell did you get hold of that?
All my in-laws are Burnley fans. All my other half of the family are from Burnley.
He's married well.
He's married well.
It's like Las Vegas for them.
Another reason not to like your mother-in-law last weekend, then.
Exactly. Oh, they were texting me to death.
Ken was jazzing all over the place when that 92nd minute goal went in. What were you doing when that winner, or the loser in your case, went in?
I was gutted. I was watching it I went to Toronto last weekend to watch the final weekend of MLS. So I was watching it live on TV. I was distraught. But you know what? In fairness to Burnley, that's what they do best. They can just soak it up, Burnley, can't they? And then they never give up. And that's what their game plan will be this season. We had so much possession. But Burnley are good at that. That's what they'll do, the dangerous side. I like Burnley. I'm gutted they won. And look at them two there, smug guys on that couch.
They are, aren't they? I mean, I'd say they're the second team from Merseyside this season to go there and be foiled by the exact same game plan, really, aren't they? All the possession, a lot of chances, but you're resolute, if nothing else.
But would it be fair to say that Burnley and Everton, I call it an elective affinity, because you've had Dave Thomas, Martin Dobson, Trevor Stephen.
Yeah.
You gave us Tony Grant, but we'll not worry about that one.
Martin Dobson, of course, is a legend. 100% record at Burnley as well, didn't he? He managed one game.
There you go.
Yeah, and of course we had Adrian Heath.
Is this just a history lesson now?
yeah.
Showing your age here, Ken. Showing your age here, Ken. Showing your age. So, obviously, absolutely gutted the way that Burnley did it. But from what you saw from that game, are Burnley going to be all right this season?
Do you know, Burnley, they've been up and down over the last couple of years, but I don't think anyone will disagree that they've been doing it the right way, haven't they? They don't come up and spend 50, 60 million pounds on a marquee player. They're very careful with the money. They're very careful with the players they buy. They always have a good squad. They've got a good manager. They've got talks like that all the time. What else are we saying?
That's our first Sean Dyche impression of the evening. They can only get better. They can only get better, frankly. Jamie, mate, thank you so much for Skyping in. We're gonna take a quick break. Just very quickly, quick prediction for the Everton score this weekend.
Oh, 3-0 Everton, easy.
3-0 Everton. Boo, the West Ham fans aren't happy. Jamie, mate, thank you for Skyping us in. We're going to take a break, mate. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good one.
Glad you converted.
Right, we'll be back talking about Burnley in just a few moments' time. Cheers, Jamie. Cheers, mate. Thank you. That's right, Jamie. Hi there, if you're observant, you'll know that I'm not Justin Lee Collins. Well done for noticing. He is off today and I'm off tomorrow. The lovely Kiri Bleu is going to be here instead. Here is what's still to come tonight. Boom, boop, 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 boop. Burnley Ken is jazzing off on the lime green sofa along with fellow Burnley supporter Jack. We'll need to get that dry cleaned later. And in about half an hour, we're still on air, we've got some lower league action with Leyton Orient fans Matt and James. And then at about 9:15, we'll have West Ham supporter Ricky alongside Everton supporter Simon ahead of their game on Sunday. We've had to curtail Ricky's alcohol intake so that things don't kick off here in the studio. Talking about kicking off, we're still trying to get a hold of Kenny Ken and see what he's ranting about now. A bit later on, Kenny Ken will kick off, we promise. And of course, Dan La Liga man is waiting in the wings on Skype for our regular Spanish League update. All that still to come on Fan TV, but right now it's back to Orgasm Ken. You've been called some things in your time.
Absolutely. Anyway, let's not go there. Are we discussing the Bee, Bertie the Bee?
Yeah, well, in the break, you were telling me that you were at a game where you saw Bertie the Bee get sent off.
Yeah, I think it was about 3 years ago. I think it was at home against QPR. I can't remember what he did. I think we were 2-0 up and he nicked the ball or something.
Oh, really?
No, he didn't.
Was it not the ball?
No. The linesman gave the most ridiculous non-offside.
Yes.
And he asked him, went over and gave him some specs.
That's it, yeah, that's it. Did he?
The linesman, the referee came over, had the stewards and the police arrest him, and off he went.
Really?
And there's a picture of him, a famous picture. He's in the cage for the errant fans.
That's
behind
amazing.
They sent him off because he said, you need to go to Specsavers.
And he gave him some glasses.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the relevance of a bee to Burnley? Why is he a bee?
We have a bee on the
it's
crest.
on the crest, is it?
Yeah, it's on the crest.
That makes sense,
And Bertie B, and of course there's the famous one, we at the game with the nude flasher.
That was you, Ken.
No, you need to
that
get
was in the
this
green
one.
room earlier.
Toby, you need to get this one up. Guy runs across the pitch, nude, totally,
go near that
totally, runs across the... Bertie B, middle of pitch, game's going live, if I remember right, I think it was going live, sort of bends over, does this wrestling throw, chucks him over.
Tackles the nude
Yeah, absolutely, nude streaker.
And he said, you're not going to sting anyone with that.
Exactly. In fact, it's in folklore that he said, you're not shoving that anywhere.
Oh, gosh. Does it fall off after? No,
absolutely. Anyway,
We digress. Do you know, I went to a Reading game where Kingsley the Lion got sent off, but it was... I thought you were going to say... So the game I was at was that Kingsley was on the touchline and the linesman, again, flagged for an offside that's absolutely nowhere near. And what's happened is he's looked down the line and he's seen Kingsley.
Was there uproar?
Okay, was there uproar? Here we go, I like that. Yeah, it was just in front of the main stand. Here we go.
Love that.
Keep them coming.
But he genuinely, he got confused. He saw the Reading shirt and flagged, thinking he was a player. And I went, I know some of our players are ugly, but I mean,
that's taking it.
That's taking the mick. And then the other thing I was once down. I got to go on the pitch at half time at a Reading game, and bear in mind I've seen this mascot playing with children and having photos of kids all before the game. I saw him without the head on. Thought, bloody hell, he's better looking with it on. I wouldn't let him near my kids. I'll tell you how, he was just puffing a cigarette, greasiest plate you've ever seen. I went, Jesus, keep the mask on in the future. My favourite one as well, Kingsley. So we came back one season, and there's Kingsley there, and then there's Queensley now, who's got a little pink bow in her hair, and there's a male and female, and my dad nudged me. First game of the season, goes, bloody hell, Dad. Bloody hell, Toby. In the summer, Kingsley's got a girlfriend and you still haven't.
Oh, no.
So thanks for that. Anyway, it's enough about our
enough
mascots.
about the mascots, yeah.
Enough about mascots. Do we get to keep him, by the way?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, because we're going to get rid of this thing. That's going. As I leave, that's going.
What, the squirrel?
The squirrel, that's off. We're going to replace him.
But he can't
replace
sit
him
up, can he?
with the bee. Well, we can prop him up or put a match up him. We'll do something.
I'm sure we can make it work.
Yeah, we can make it
work. Right, back to Burnley. We're going through your team. Obviously, Andre Gray, we discussed at length, but there's a few people that have been brilliant for you this season. Probably the back five, would you say, fair to say, have been the highlight of your team this season?
Yeah, not half. Heaton's been I mean, we lost 3-0 against Southampton. I was there.
3-1.
3-1, sorry. I was there, and it was painful, but he was he was definitely the best Burnley player.
Not often you concede free if your keeper's the man
really
of the
not.
match. Knocking on the door for England. Joe Hart made a howler in the week in Syria.
You'd hope so. Obviously, from a personal point, we'd love to see him play. He had his famous 3 minutes. But
sometimes that's enough.
Well,
is it a case of little old Burnley syndrome? Do they not get to play for England? Keane, if you watch Smalling and Stones, Keane
and Gary Cahill.
Yeah, I mean, they've tried their best, but I don't think they're good enough. And I think now's the time to give. I kid you not with this one. I said it 2 years ago. In fact, you laughed at me last time me and you were on.
Surely not.
And I mentioned Ben Mee. And I said Ben Mee will be in the England team before the end of the season. Keane and Mee, just put your head on now and get somebody to research it. Is there a better English pair at centre-half than Keane and Mee? I don't think there are.
There's too many fully English players, are there, to be honest with you? I mean, that Michael Keane, I actually do agree with you this on, if Michael Keane was still at Manchester United, I think he'd be in the England team by now. I really do.
Absolutely.
I really do.
100%.
I think you're actually correct about that.
Yeah.
I think this odd obsession England has with picking players from the top 6 or 7 teams. I mean, Glenn Johnson got recalled recently just because he once played for big teams. Not even because he still does, because he once played for Chelsea and Chelsea and Liverpool. I mean, it is ridiculous how much that big team thing seems to give you a reputation.
Linked with Barcelona today as well.
Yes, Glenn Johnson. I mean, he's got a hell of an agent.
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I want his. We were talking about it pre-match, pre-program, and I want his number because I'm sure he could get me a job.
I reckon.
I mean, Johnson's agent must be some agent, mustn't he?
And stripes are quite fitting as well. He'd look good in a Barcelona shirt.
Absolutely, I think so. Yeah.
We have got another Burnley fan on Skype, and I think you know him well. It's Vizay. Vizay, you there? Hello. How are we doing? You good?
Yeah, buzzing, still not dead in Newcastle, so I think that's a good job. Well done.
That's a start. That's a start, isn't it? And is that the real trophy behind you?
About as worth as the one that we lifted up at Charlton, the inflatable one, which we're still grieving about. Just like to keep that as a memento from that day.
So, the closest you'll come.
Is that not the Ballon d'Or for morning?
Is that not Dean Marnie's Ballon d'Or? I mean, the list came out yesterday or the other day, 30-man list, and Dean Marnie nowhere to be seen.
It.
Scandalous, that.
Shocking. What's the world coming to?
It's travesty, disgrace to football that Dean Marnie is not listed in the Ballon d'Or.
We were talking about, two players in particular. First of all, Tom Heaton. How good has he been for you guys?
I would actually marry him. Genuinely, seriously, I'll turn gay for Sean Dyche, but I'll marry Tom Heaton. That's the difference. And the thing is, he's that good that I seriously think that he could probably be goalkeeper for most Premier League sides other than Man United with De Gea. I think he could get into a side like Chelsea. He's that good right now, and I think he's still 30 years old. So he's a very late bloomer in his career right now, and I seriously dread where we would be right now without Tom Heaton on our side. It would be terrifying.
Dyche got a lot of stick for signing him because he signed him from Bristol, and Bristol had just got relegated that season. On a free. So,
exactly. We've got the same mentality when we signed Gudmundsson from Charlton, and they get relegated, and, well, he pretty much assisted Arfield's winner against Everton, so it happens.
What were you doing in the 92nd minute when Arfield scored that goal?
My entire flat absolutely despised me for the rest of that night. I went beyond mental. Sadly, I was not able to go to the game. With money and everything like that, student life, it's what you get. It's just what you expect. But I literally woke up every single person in my entire youth student halls. It's not a pretty sight to say that.
not a pretty sight.
Viz, your room is far too clean for a uni student, mate.
That is true. Did you clean up?
I had to represent. I knew that I'd be on the camera, so I had to make sure that it was a bit spotless. Okay,
yeah,
sorry about that.
I bet you this side of the camera's
the bin bags will be horrendous.
Yeah.
The thing is that cannot be any more true.
We got our own pot noodle. Come on, where's yours, Viz? You've got a pot noodle. It's a
Pot noodle?
But you're a student.
Mate, that is a luxury. That is a luxury. What do you spend £1 for that? If you get free baked beans for that, I'll live that life.
So you can take the boy out of Burnley, eh? You can take the boy out of Burnley. Is one concern that all your points have been at home? Do you need to start doing something on the road eventually? You can't rely on just your home form to stay up.
Not true, because at the moment we're average.
Sorry,
No, but it's not true, because the points average at the moment, we're averaging 1.25. That'll give us 45 points. That's if we lose every away game.
It's not an ideal recipe for success, though, is it?
No, but we don't lose at Burnley. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Look at last time we were in Premier League. We do not lose. We don't get beat heavy at Burnley. And we do. You know how hard it is to come? I mean, I'll just remind you.
What about Arsenal?
Yeah, over in the 2009 season, we lost like 6-1 to Manchester City, but
we beat Liverpool this season at Burnley. We beat Everton. We beat Watford. We didn't beat the referee when we played Arsenal, who allowed an offside goal and the player to throw a ball in with his hands, but that's another thing.
It's a bit of a concern, the away form. Like, Viz was there, I was there on last weekend. We were terrible. Saturday, yeah, we were terrible.
That's it.
I mean, Southampton are a really good team. They've got a lot of quality players. It's a concern, but like Ken said, if we keep it up at home, we'll be all right.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break. Viz, mate, always good to hear from you. Quick one, prediction on the scoreline on the weekend.
Against Man United, away, I'm going confident. I'm going with a 1-1. Got to keep the faith. Got to keep the faith, lads.
Fair, okay. Right, you heard it here first. I'll ask your predictions a bit later on. Viz, mate, always good to hear from you. Enjoy your weekend.
It's frozen well.
Right, we were going to take a quick break. See you in a sec. Hello, welcome back to Fan TV. I can tell you our first poll of the evening is finished on Twitter at Fan TV UK. We can have a look at the results now. Yes. Which is the biggest Midlands derby? Villa, Birmingham, 75%, Wolves, Baggies, 9%, and Derby Forest, 16%. It's quite overwhelming there. As neutrals, do you guys agree with that? Villa, Birmingham being the biggest one in that region?
Definitely think so.
Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it? It's a very, very big one. And we're going to launch poll 2 of the evening as well. Again, at Fan TV UK is the place to go for vote for this. There's probably just under an hour to go now, and then we'll reveal the results a bit later on. Is an English youngster's best chance of becoming an England regular a move to a bigger club? Yes or no? That is a myth. Let us know on Twitter at Fan TV UK. I know your opinion on the sofa here. it's a sad fact that they almost do need to move to a bigger club, don't they?
Definitely.
Do you mean to a smaller club?
No, a bigger club.
No, to a bigger club. Like the question that we just read out.
Yeah, but I'm not getting that one because Keane moved to a smaller club from United and is now on the Virgin England team.
Yeah,
Eaton moved from United to Burnley.
How many games would he have played if he was still in the Man United team? How many caps for England would Michael Keane have by now if he was at Chelsea or Manchester United?
Dele Alli. If he was still at MK Dons, he wouldn't have had a gig.
You're speaking hypothetically, though, because he didn't go to a bigger club, did he? When he went down to Milton Keynes, were he playing at Milton Keynes?
What's this? Dele Alli?
Yeah, MK Dons.
Yeah.
So they've to move down a notch to come back up a notch, haven't they? My argument with this one is why do the teams who have identify these young players not have the patience and the resolve and the trust to let them develop and go on to play in their own first team?
Well, they're talking about Michael Keane going back to Manchester United. They've just signed Pogba for £89 million, another player they let go. It's not much of a business model, that, is it?
It's great business, really, isn't it, for anybody that's selling to them, because you know that you've got a ready-made market, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's worth buying Man U players in the young because you know they'll buy it back for you for 15 times the price of the future. I'm going to have somebody join us on Skype now, Guesty, our Rangers fan, to talk about a man called Joey Barton.
Bring it on.
You may have heard of him. He normally keeps quite a low profile, Joey Barton, and Guesty. Hello, Guesty, mate.
Hi, Toby. How you doing?
Very well. Good to see you. How you been? All right?
Yes, not too bad. Thank you. Not too bad.
Good. While we've got you all here, I'm going to knock the bee off. The bee can sit next to me over here somewhere. He can go and pop himself over there. We've got to talk about the big Joey Barton question. Let's get it from a Rangers perspective first. Do you want to see him go? Would you be sad to see him go? Do you care if he goes?
I think, see now, with the Rangers fans, I think it's a case of Joey who. Over the last couple of weeks, we've not heard anything. The team's been doing okay, I suppose. And it's been very quiet. No social media from him, hardly anything about football. And we've just carried on without him. And today he was back at Ibrox today regarding a meeting. And we don't know what's happened with that. We don't know the outcome of that meeting today.
That's it. I mean, apparently he's had meetings at Rangers and they don't know whether he's coming or going. Apparently, he posted something on his social media, which seems to be the only way that we can connect with footballers nowadays and find out what's on their mind. A final song, it was called, which people are reading into and suggesting that his days at Rangers are finished.
I would think so, yes.
We're having a bit of technical issues there. And
Joey Barton, I think he signed a 2-year contract with Rangers.
I mean,
can you hear me?
What do you think's happened then? If he has gone, surely it's a mutual termination, do you think?
I don't know if you can have a mutual termination while there's a contract in place. He's got 2 years of this contract to go, a year and a half. I don't know if Rangers are looking at a breach of contract for Joey Barton in terms of what he's done since he's been at Rangers. But if a mutual termination could be put in place, then I think the majority of Rangers fans would be very happy with that.
Really? I mean, he didn't perform very well for you, did he? In the games that he did play, it wasn't like he was setting the world alight, which probably makes it easier to see him go, does it?
No, definitely. He came up here with a big reputation. He done a lot of talking in the media, saying how Scottish football, he was going to come up here and rule Scottish football, but he's done completely the opposite. I looked on social media today and there was reports that Burnley were interested in taking him back. I don't know if your two guests have heard about that.
Yeah, well, that's the reports we're hearing. It seems that Sean Dyche would open him back with open arms.
He was on the radio on Monday night, and they sort of asked him, would you have him back? And he was very sort of non-committal, wouldn't give a yes or no. I know Ken isn't that keen.
You're not keen on having Joey Barton back?
Just to answer your question, you can terminate a contract by mutual consent.
Yeah, I think that's it. They can both agree to go separate ways, can't they?
Sean Dyche is a big mate of Warburton's, of course, and Frank McParland, your chief scout.
Yeah.
So I think Dyche, because Dyche has the relationship with Warburton, it's a big if for me, because he's very non-committal, is Dyche, but of course it would be the perfect solution because Rangers could ease him out for no cost, and of course Burnley could get him back at Turf Moor perhaps on something like a paper play deal, which might suit Barton. It might do, but from my point of view, he sort of
on a paper plate deal. Is that where he gets paid in paper plates?
Yeah, well, but even that.
Yeah.
But he walked the walk, but he didn't sort of. He talked the talk, but he didn't walk the walk up there, did he?
Were you surprised to see him go north of the border and go to Rangers? I mean, he got you promoted, and then, well, he didn't get you promoted, but he was a big part of what got you promoted. And then he disappeared. I would have thought he wanted one last go at the Premier League.
You'd have thought so, but, you know, whatever way you look at Scottish football, Rangers are a huge club, traditionally huge club. And I don't begrudge him going there. I think, you know, he wanted to experience something new. He's done the Premier League. It's a shame that it hasn't worked out for him. Personally, I'd like to see him do well up there.
Do you think there's an element of Joey Barton thinking he has a big reputation in Premier League, he gets a lot of stick, and he's not good enough?
I think he wanted to eclipse, this is just my opinion, I think he wanted to eclipse Paul Gascoigne. I think he wanted to go up to Glasgow and do the, you know, the pipe and flute and do it. But he just didn't, did he?
When he arrived, Guesty, I mean, in many ways, it felt like a real, almost a match made in heaven, I thought, when it happened. I thought, he's going to love that league, you know, he's going to get stuck in, an old firm derby, he's the sort of guy you want in your team. When he arrived, were you excited about Barton coming?
Yeah, I think a lot of fans were. He was a big name, it was somebody that Rangers needed. Rangers haven't really signed many players over the last 4 or 5 years since what happened to us of no real value, name value. Joey Barton certainly came up here and gave us that. But obviously, as your guest has said there, with Barton, Dyche, McPartland and Warburton all being kind of friends, I think that move to Glasgow, it kind of suited all parties. But I think if you offered the Rangers fans, Mark Warburton and the Rangers board, the opportunity for Joey Barton to move down back to Burnley quietly, under the radar, and get him out the door, I think they would bite your hand off for it.
Well, if there's one thing Joey Barton does well, it's quietly and under the radar, isn't it?
So do you think he'd come on a paper plate deal?
I don't think so, no. I think he'll come down there wanting he'll probably want to continue back to what he done with Burnley last year.
He won't get the money.
On a serious note, do you just this again, just a personal thing? Do you think that he's doing the media circus now, the book, you know, the talk sport thing and everything that he does? He seems to be media orientated.
I think he's got one eye on his post-career.
Yeah,
hasn't he?
I do. Yeah.
Guesty, mate, thank you very much for stopping us in tonight.
It was on question time.
It was on question time. Yeah, good point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you had Clark Carlisle on Countdown once, didn't you?
Oh, we've had them all on. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice one, Guesty.
Guesty, mate, good to see you again. Thanks for Skyping us in.
No worries, guys. Thanks very much. Can I just say one more thing quickly?
Yes, of course.
Tarrant out.
I thought we would finally put an end to this, but no, here we go. I know that you have a bit of a love affair with Justin Lee Collins. I'm sorry to disappoint, Guesty.
Oh, no, that's okay. You're not as handsome.
I'll give you that. I haven't got the same flowing locks that he's got. Or I've got a rubbish beard as well. Actually, shut up, Guesty. I'm not going to talk to you about hair, mate.
How did it finish against St Johnstone? What was the finished result?
What was the final score?
I'm going to come down there and knock that hat off him.
No, I didn't know. We were 1-1 when I was watching.
He genuinely didn't know.
I guess you lost.
He's a wind-up merchant, this one.
I'm glad he's a long way away. Cheers, Guesty, mate. Good to see you.
Nobody's take care, guys. All the best.
Cheers. I mean, if Joey Barton does come back, he's not getting anywhere near that midfield, though, is he? Stephen Defoe, come off it.
No, you're right. He won't. But at the moment, we've got a kid in Aidan O'Neill, and we've got a centre back in Tarky. They've both done well when they come in. I'd like to see one more natural centre midfielder in there. So I'd welcome him back.
If you have a fully onside Joey Barton, and Sean Dyche was saying that basically when they signed him, he went round Sean Dyche's house, they had a 3-hour discussion about the whole thing.
Yeah.
He said I was brutally honest with him, which he's not heard much of in his career, he doesn't think. And when you have a fully onside Joey Barton, you want him in your dressing room, don't you?
Oh yeah, he was.
You'd rather have him on your side than playing against him.
Yeah, 100%.
I have a sneaky suspicion that Dale Stevens, who's with Brighton, who should have come to us in August, but because of the crackpot chairman that Brighton have, Tony Bloom, wouldn't let him. I have a feeling that he'll be coming to Burnley in January.
How much would you like to see, how much do you reckon, money-wise?
Well, he's going to be cut price, isn't he? Because he's going to leave. He's not signing a new contract. He's going to be gone in June for nothing. He's hardly kicking a ball for Brighton. He's not interested. I've watched him a couple of times. Probably $1 million, $1.5 million, and he'll be at Burnley.
Yeah.
So why are we going to bring Barton in?
Right.
And the rumours are that there's 2 players coming in early in the window at Burnley just to give the squad another little boost. And I think Stevens will be one of them, which sort of rules Barton out.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what happens to Joe Barton. I mean, if it comes on the free, it's probably worth having just for the sake of it. Really quickly, we've got to take a break, so I literally just need a scoreline. But Manchester United away, Saturday at 3 o'clock. Haven't beaten them there since 1962. Ken, you were about 40. And you won 5-2 on the day. What's the score going to be on Saturday?
A very, very sneaky 1-0 win. 93rd minute.
93rd minute.
2-2.
2-2. Who's Andre Gray's going to get the score?
Dean Marnie.
Dean Marnie.
2 goals, 2 own goals.
Goodmanson.
Free kick.
Free kick, right, you heard it here first, guys. Always a pleasure, never a chore to get you on. And just a quick one as well, Jack. We just want to say a massive thank you for taking a time out from keeping the girls moist. We really appreciate that. So that was very nice of you. As I know, obviously, you double up as Dapper Laughs when you're not on Fan TV. So we really appreciate that, mate.
They're only human. The girls are only human.
They're only human. Guys, really good to see you. I'm going to keep the B. I don't care what you're saying. I'll keep Bertie the B. We won't send him off. He's allowed to stay until the end here. Right, we are going to take another break. But as always, you can keep tweeting us at FanTV UK. And we have run the second poll of the evening as well. That's on at FanTV UK as well. Thank you to Jack and Ken. Always a pleasure, never a chore. We'll get you back on later in the season. We'll be back in a sec. Burnley, Ken, has now jazzed off. The less said about that, the better, although we've said plenty about it. Here's what's still to come on tonight on Fan TV. We have got some lower league action with Leyton Orient fans Matt and James. They'll be joining me in just a moment. They are literally right there, and in 45 minutes it'll all be kicking off with West Ham supporter Ricky alongside Everton supporter Simon ahead of their game on Sunday. And stay with us for just a little while longer, and Kenny Ken will be kicking off. Never a dull moment there. And of course, Dan La Liga man is waiting in the wings on Skype. Our Spanish update is imminent. All that still to come on Fan TV, but let's get the Leyton Orient boys out here. It's Matt and James. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. Good to see you. How you doing? All right. How you doing, mate? Nice to meet you. Take a seat. Take a seat. Welcome. Leyton Orient. It's not going too well at the moment, is it?
It's not been going too well for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's, well, what can you say about Leyton Orient that hasn't already been said in the last 2 years? It's damn awful, to be honest.
I love your T-shirt. Keep calm and support Orient.
Well, yeah, you need to, yeah.
That's been that patience has been tested, I guess.
Yeah, 38 years worth, and more in the last 2 years, definitely. Yeah.
In your lifetime, 15 years old, am I right in saying? How have you found supporting Leyton Orient in those years? Would you wish you'd made you a Manchester United fan? Or
It's good. The duration last 2 years has been somewhat a bit difficult. So
yeah, exactly. You've seen better times even in your brief time as Leyton Orient sport. I'm going to come back to Leyton Orient in just a sec, but it is time for our regular feature. I'm not normally here on a Thursday, so I'm quite excited about this. It's time for Dan La Liga Man.
Dan La Liga Man.
Evening.
Dan, mate, you've got to love that. You've got to love that introduction every week, surely.
Well, I don't see it, so I can only hear it, so I'll have to take your word for it. But, Justin, you've changed. You've changed your hair, Justin.
Yeah. Justin's really let himself go recently. It's the stress of presenting this show. It gets to us all, frankly. It gets to us all.
Talking to me, I bet.
Yeah, the stress of talking to you, mate. How have you been? All right? Good to see you again.
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Still watching Spanish football, so still here.
Still there.
Let's go. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's a hell of a time to be watching La Liga. I mean, the last few years, last decade or so, you could maybe level the criticism at the league that it's a bit of a two-horse race, maybe a three-horse race in recent years at Atletico Madrid, but it's looking like the Premier League at the top of the table at the minute. 5 teams in the title race at the moment. Can you remember this in recent memory?
Not at all. And you're right. What a difference a loss makes, because this time last week I was speaking to Justin saying how Atletico Madrid were doing so well being top of the league. They lose to Sevilla, and now they're 5th. So it's not quite as tight as the Premier League, where only a point separates the top 5, but 3 points separate the top 5. And Atletico, they lose their unbeaten record, and not only that, they've gone to 5th in the league. So yeah, it's wide open. Whether these teams will last the pace for the whole campaign, but it's certainly a great time to watching Spanish football right now.
That is the key, isn't it? It is still comparatively early days. We're only about a quarter of the way through the season. Do you, out of, let's say, Sevilla, for example, can you imagine them still being up there come the end of the season?
Well, the way they're playing at the moment, you'd have to say that there's no reason why they can't. They've got a new manager in Jorge Sampaoli. He's had great success with Chile, winning the Copa America with them 2 years ago, and also having a good stint with them in the World Cup back in 2014. So the way they're playing at the moment, you'd say why not? Obviously, have they got the squad depth or the legs to sort of take them all the way? But that's almost the sort of the wild card in this Spanish race at this stage of the season. So if they can get there and make it like a 4-horse race, it'd be even better. But I think we'll just have to wait and see at the moment. But they're playing as well as any other team in the Spanish league right now. Yeah, I mean, to beat Atletico Madrid's rare. To score 2 against Atletico Madrid's even rarer, probably. I mean, they're so miserly in defence. It was an absolutely huge result for them. And who is that bloke that looks like Samir Nasri that's playing really well in La Liga? Because I don't remember seeing him for about 10 years. Well, I think sitting Arsenal fans will be thinking, who? Do you know what I mean? Like, he looks familiar, but I think sometimes players need that, don't they? Sort of, when Guardiola came in to City, he was always going to be one of those players you thought, where would he fit into a Guardiola squad? And then he was one of the first to sort of leave. But I think sometimes it just needs a step away to revitalise yourself. There's always been talent there. People accuse him perhaps of being a mercenary from going from Arsenal to City to chase the money, go to a bigger club. And obviously that move brought success. But obviously, again, City have evolved since then and he's moved on. But he's looking the kind of player that got him the move to City in the first place, if that makes sense. He's actually looking pretty decent again after having a sort of a spell of like 2-3 years where he's not really done anything, sort of been on the bench but still collecting trophies and medals. He's now looking, a decent enough player again.
No, if he wants to chase the money, come to Orient. You get paid thousands of pounds for doing nothing. Yeah. Even in League Two. Can I come? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I want to actually, Dan. Are there any centre backs over there that are injured? We're into signing injured centre backs.
You got any injured centre backs that they can
injured centre backs that are going to be out for 4 months?
You can have some Barcelona ones, I expect. They've always got a fair few. you can pay for their airfare. I'm sure they'd love to sit to.
We do that. The chairman would fly him over in his helicopter. We put him on a 3-year contract. That's fine.
Yeah.
I only live in Wanstead, so if I bring my boots, can I play on Saturday?
Oh, easy, mate. You get in, no problem. Yeah, no problem at all.
And he watches La Liga, so he plays the proper football as well. He'll pass out from the back.
We don't do that, mate. No, we don't. Well, we do a little bit, but
you're going to have to learn how to lump it up the pitch, Dan.
Just clog it. That's all you need, isn't it? Clog
That's it, mate. Fantastic.
That's spot on. Also, the other one in the Athletic Bilbao. I mean, it's incredible what they're up to at the moment as well. I mean, they're purely Basque players, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's always been. I mean, we can't really go into sort of the whole Spanish nationalism and Franco and all that.
I don't think this is the forum. I think you're right there, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the whole sort of pride of their club. They've always been about Basque nationality, and it just you never see that in England. It's the equivalent of saying Southampton could only buy players from Hampshire. You know, sort of same kind of colours and the same idea, but it would just never happen. But they've never been relegated from the Spanish league up until sort of the 80s. They're probably still one of the biggest 3 clubs in Spain. Obviously, now that other teams have sort of got more money and they can sign players much easier, whereas Basque players don't have that same freedom. But yeah, to do what they do every season is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
They got to the Europa League final in 2012. It's just a phenomenon that just keeps continuing, really. And they were very unlucky to lose on Sunday to Real Madrid. They're only 6-7 minutes away from getting a draw at the Bernabeu.
Yeah, let's talk about that winner as well, the 83rd minute. I don't know if you've seen that picture going around of Alvaro Morata scoring the winner for Real Madrid and Cristiano Ronaldo on the line. It looks like he's appealing for offside against the linesman. Have you seen this picture going around?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's almost as if Ronaldo rather not the goal score because he wants to then get the winner like in a couple of minutes' time. It's bizarre. And then a couple of minutes later, Ronaldo was through on goal to make it 3-1. Instead of playing Morata in for an easy goal, he shot. And there was a cauldron of booze around the Bernabeu. So it was a bit of an uneasy game for Ronaldo. Obviously, they got the win, but it's just, I guess it's his sort of nature, really, isn't it? It's sort of, it makes him one of the best, but also incredibly frustrating at the same time. Like sometimes you just need to take a step back and be a team player. To not celebrate one of your team's goals is incredibly petulant, especially when it's a late winner that will get you top of the league. So, I guess that's what makes Ronaldo, really, isn't it?
I mean, it's one thing not celebrating a goal, but appealing for offside against your own player. I mean, it's I don't know how he gets away with it. There's also a video going around at the minute of him getting nutmegged in training and reacting very, very badly, very, very badly to that as well. Also, pick of the games last weekend. How good was Valencia-Barcelona?
Yeah, you'd say probably the game of the weekend, really. Going to the Mestalla is never an easy place to go. Barcelona have had some classic matches there previously, and although they went 1-0 up, you would have thought, especially with the form that Valencia are in right now, it would have been a pretty much routine win from there on in. But Valencia got back in front. They even had one of Barcelona's loanee players score against them. So obviously they didn't put that clause, they couldn't play against him. But Muniz scored to make it 1-1. Rodrigo then put them in front, and there was 25 minutes or so to go. And the question was then, could Valencia hold out? Unfortunately, it only took 6 or 7 minutes for Suarez to restore parity. But then, could Barcelona go out and get the winner? They were very fortunate to get a penalty very, very late on. But you think a penalty, it's a given, it's a goal. But Diego Alves has saved 19 penalties for Valencia, so it's not quite the sort of a given. But this time around, Messi, not known particularly for being great at spot kicks, has missed a fair few. But this time, he held his nerve, got the winner. And Barcelona they're finding their stride. They've had a sort of small stumble while Messi was out, but now they seem to sort of be back in the groove and they're sort of back in the title hunt. Just
a quick one as well before we look ahead to the fixtures of this weekend. We sometimes talk about Premier League being more competitive, but the Premier League being, so La Liga being technically better. That Las Palmas goal, did you see that? The Kevin Prince Boateng goal?
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to mention that because that was the quite easily the goal of the week. I mean, absolutely brilliant. Like, if you haven't seen it, get on YouTube.
That's your homework today. Go and see that.
Exactly.
It's a fantastic goal.
Kevin Prince Boateng against Villarreal. It's just an absolutely phenomenal goal. My explaining wouldn't even do it justice. Just watch it. It's not just a great team goal. It's a great team goal with an incredible finish. Like, yeah. It was. And I'm a Spurs fan. And I think, why has he never ever did that for Spurs?
or Portsmouth or
anyone. But yeah, absolutely sensational goal. So if you do check that one out.
Apparently he rose 1.67 metres high to finish that goal.
Yeah, that ain't bad, is it?
Not bad going, is it?
I'm just wondering when I'm going to see a goal like that or in my lifetime. I mean,
just a goal.
Just a goal.
Exactly.
Just a goal. Obviously, because 5 of the top 6 played each other last season. last weekend in La Liga. So everyone's kind of playing teams below them. Are there any fixtures that really jump out at you from this weekend?
To be honest, not really. Like I say, I think we had all the big ones last week, and I think Spanish football very much goes to form. So there's nothing really where you'd think, oh, there's a big sort of clash. I mean, Barcelona at home to Granada. I mean, Granada went to Atletico Madrid and got, they conceded 7 only a few weeks ago. So you would pretty much think that every team that is in that top sort of 5 should then pick up 3 points. If not, it's only points dropped and they'll lose pace on the rest of the chasing pack. So yeah, there's not like a blockbuster fixture really, unfortunately, this weekend. I think we were quite greedy last week in the way the fixtures sort of fell. But
yeah, you can't have it all. You can't have it all. We've got about a minute to go until the break. Just one question. The Ballon d'Or list came out. I mean, for me, Luis Suarez, over the last 18 months, somebody tweeted this in as well, the last 18 months has been the best player in the world, hasn't he?
Yes, in terms of scoring goals, but unfortunately the Ballon d'Or's decided on who wins what come the end of, in the season. So you'd have to. I don't think you can look further than Ronaldo because the fact he's won the Champions League and Euro 2016. Is he the best player in the world? I don't know personally, but I reckon the award will go to him for those reasons.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Dan, mate, always good to hear from you, and it's been nice doing a Thursday and hearing from you this week. So,
been a pleasure, Toby. Hope to do it again soon, mate.
Yeah, hopefully see you soon, mate. All the best. Thank you. Cheers, mate. That was Dan La Liga man. And then we do this bit.
Dan La Liga man.
How good is that? We'll get one for you next time.
We need what? Anything Italian, we'll do fine.
Anything Italian for you guys. Yeah, no, that'll be right. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Right, thank you for the person who tweeted in that question about Luis Suarez winning the Ballon d'Or. I think you're spot on there, to be honest. You can keep tweeting us at FanTV UK, and we're running a poll as well, which is of course on the same thing at FanTV UK. We're live, Sky 212 and Facebook Live and YouTube. Stay with us, we'll see you in a sec. Welcome back to Fan TV. The Leyton Orient fans are being very inappropriate during the break. We'll come back to that in a few moments' time. We are doing the the wash bag tonight. I'm replacing Justin Lee Collins. Normally, what happens is Justin will go into a locker room and he'll steal a footballer's wash bag. But tonight, there's a slight difference to it. We've had a couple of guesses on Twitter already at Fan TV UK. I think we can have a look. Gareth Bale. Cool. Yeah. No, it's not Gareth Bale. But I can see where you're coming from. The first clue was this rather fetching Alice band. So the second clue of the evening, of this wash bag with a difference, is What an album. Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. Great album, great album, great album. That is your second clue of the evening. If you think you know, tweet us at FanTVUK. We are also playing Can I Have a Foul Please tonight, which is where we give you, there we go. Just in case you didn't know what I was talking about, that helped. Where we give you a couple of vowels and you have to guess the footballer. We gave you those 2 E's earlier. It's going to be a good night if we're giving you 2 E's. And now we are going to add a couple of vowels here. A couple of U's. So if you think you know, tweet us at FanTVUK. And I can tell you he was in action over the last couple of days in the League Cup. Any ideas on the sofa?
I don't know. Put a couple of L's and W's in there. Might be a Welsh player. I don't know. But, no, it's a tough one.
It's a good score on Scrabble. I don't know
It is.
who
It's fantastic.
Apart from that, great score on Scrabble. Right, let's get back to Leyton Orient. Actually, first, let's get back to you.
Yes.
So the last time that you appeared on Fan TV, you appeared on this screen behind me.
I did. It was a bit dark, wasn't it?
It was a bit dingy.
It was.
And you were in a car park at the time.
I was actually picking my daughter up from Brownies. Would you believe?
Well, I don't believe.
I don't believe. No, not as half your population watching. I don't think either, but there you go. I mean, it was by the Thames. Very, very nice. And but there was some strange things going around.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think when you turned on the TV and your dad was in a dogging car park?
I wondered where he was.
I wondered where I was at the time.
What had he told you he was doing that evening?
He told me he's just at home.
Oh, yeah. That old chestnut.
Easy one, yeah. That's what I told the girlfriend anyway.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to...
no, Thursdays is the best night as well. If you can get me on a Tuesday next time, that'd be fantastic.
OK, that's noted. From now on, we won't dare disrupt your Thursday evening plans. Right. We'll move swiftly back to your team, Leyton Orient. First of all, first question I got to ask you, we'll have the West Ham fan on the lime green sofas in a bit. Did you dodge a bullet not ending up in that stadium?
I don't know if we ever really wanted to go there being serious. I think it was a bit of a Barry Hur moment. But looking at it and being serious, and from what I hear from West Ham fans, yeah, I think we did. I think it's not been made for football. It's not an experience. I don't think you want to go there, and we'll sell it on now because there's no seats left in there.
Yeah, it'd be good for a Taylor Swift concert.
I think it'd be great, yeah. I think you've now got, after last night's game, you get safe standing in there, don't you?
Yeah. I'll go see Guns N' Roses there as well.
Well, yeah, £8 for a terrace and you're all right, I suppose. But, yeah. Too bad at all.
No, I think you've not done too badly there. Dodged that bullet. Let's talk about Leyton Orient. I mean, I was a bit unkind, but you are 20th in the league at the minute.
We are 20th, yeah.
You won your last game?
We did. We won 3-1.
Against Jeff Stelling's mob, Hartlepool.
Your favourite player, Ollie Palmer?
Yeah.
How he's not got in the Ballon d'Or?
I know. First Dean Marnie, now Ollie Palmer.
Ollie Palmer, I mean, that's scandalous. I don't know what's gone wrong with football, but I mean, no one even knows who Ollie Palmer is unless you're an Orient fan.
I mean, you haven't been getting in the team, had he, really? And then he scored twice, and you could do with somebody that can score twice, can you?
Yeah.
He's your favourite player?
Yeah. When he's scoring.
When he's scoring,
which is, I mean, I score more dogging on a Thursday than I really, there we go.
Well, don't we all?
Anyone scores more than Ollie Palmer.
It was your first win in 8 league games, your first win since the 3rd of September. The season started quite well.
It did. We scored after the 3rd minute, and then it went downhill after that.
Again, like your Thursday night.
I know, yeah. It takes me about a minute. I think there's a Burnley fan. I mean, he goes jazzing on the sofa. I go jazzing in the car park. But we started well in the season, and it has. But being serious, it's been all for me. We were relegation. We are. I think we're in a relegation battle.
You do?
I really do think we're in a relegation battle. Seriously, yeah.
We've got a couple of more Leyton Orient fans on Skype to join us now.
Fantastic.
All 4 of you are here.
All 4. That's
Hello, chaps. How are we doing? All right?
Hi, guys.
They let the side down. Guys, you're meant to be in a car park and it's meant to be black. I'm not having it.
We decided to come inside. It's cold.
It's a bit cold out. It's a bit cold out tonight. We'll let you off.
We'll let them off.
But we were just talking about... it started quite well this season. Were you feeling quite optimistic about 5 games in? Or 3 minutes in?
You know, we did start off quite brightly, but it turned out to be a bit of a false dawn, really. Sadly, we just sort of tailed off. I don't quite really know why we went backwards so quickly. Gavin Massey came in, and a bright prospect, and scored a couple of goals in games that really sort of put us in good stead, really, for a good start for a season. But it just sort of tailed off and went really wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, we had a good start, as Paul said. On paper, quite straightforward fixtures, and when the hard fixtures came, we didn't really rise to the occasion. And like you've already said, we find ourselves 20th in League Two, but not all doom and gloom. 5 points off the playoffs, only 2 points above relegation. But early in the season, new manager, different style of football starting to be played. Got a lot of injuries at the moment, so if those players come back, there is hope. Yeah, there is hope.
Do you reckon you're in a relegation battle?
I think we are. I mean, Stephen will talk about injuries. We've got players who we've signed who are injured. I mean, no one else signs injured players and puts them on 3-year contracts. I mean, it's just crazy. It's
not a recipe for success, is it?
It's not. I think we're still just looking for a slight spark from our chairman as to the plan of where we're going. It's not quite happened yet in 2.5 years, so...
An Italian chairman without a plan? Surely not. Not in football.
No, it's a little bit. Yeah, I just can't believe it.
Unbelievable.
We've got the manager with a scarf though, which is good.
Well, I mean, let's talk about this new man, Alberto Cavassin. I had a bit of a read up on him earlier. I mean, his sheet of where he's been as a player and a manager.
He's got clubs. Oh, he did. Well, only in Italy, but like I say, I think, like you said in the break, I think he googled Leyton Orient, put the scarf on, and. In a couple of months' time, he'll be telling us he was always an Orient fan and on the terraces from 30 years ago.
The season ticket holder from the good old days.
Oh, definitely, yeah. He was always there,
It's an Italian thing, because Roberto Mancini used to do the Man City scarf as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I think it's, it must be an Italian. I don't know, maybe he's cold, I don't know. But,
I mean... He's a character. He got you a win eventually, and I mean, I love this. At half-time, he said that he kissed all of your players.
He did, apparently. Did you, Stephen Paul? You heard
I mean, he said, the exact quote is, I kissed them all twice. I would have given them 3 kisses, but you can't kiss them on the mouth.
The only problem is, I don't know, maybe he's been coming dogging with me on a Thursday night. Maybe he's been picking up some tips. I don't know. I mean,
is that the rule, is it?
I think that's the rule, yeah. 2 kisses and that's it. You stop. I mean, you look at some of our players, you wouldn't want to kiss them a third, but you wouldn't kiss them once, let alone 3 times.
I think initially is that we were being linked with some really good British managers, and when the vacancy came up, and then all of a sudden this unknown to us Italian gets appointed who we've never heard of. Last job 5 years ago, got Sampdoria relegated, who are a pretty big club in Italy. But give him his dues, you can see what he's trying to do on the pitch. He's trying to get the team to pass it on the ground. Yeah. You can clearly see what he's trying to achieve with the team. So 1 win in 4, not the best start, but 1 was an EFL trophy game that most fans weren't that fussed about, I would say. And the other 2 games were against Portsmouth, who were 4th, and Luton, who were 5th at home. So decent opposition, and we gave both teams a bit of a battle. And I think this Saturday against Crewe, I think that's a massive game coming up. I think if we win that, I think we'll get more fans on side. Yeah, that's a massive game Saturday.
I think he needs to start. We need to start getting positive results, whether that's a draw or obviously ideally a win. But at this stage, we take a draw. Teams like Barton the other night coming back and winning 2-1. We are potentially going to get sucked into a long dogfight of the season down at the bottom, which no one wants. And as Steve said earlier, when there's only 5 or 6 points, or 7 or 8 points between top and bottom, just shows you how lacking in quality the league is generally. That 1 win and a couple of draws for others, and suddenly you're back near the playoffs. So I think it'd be a bit premature to be thinking that this is us for the season now, because, like you say, we've started to play some much better football.
Yeah. By all accounts, the performances have been much better since he came in. We're going to let you go, guys. Thank you for Skyping us in. Just quickly, I didn't realise Leyton Orient fans were so classy. What's this piece of art behind you? Can you talk us through it?
That's since we've gone Italian, actually. I think
since we've gone Italian,
we've gone a slightly more upmarket.
You're not drinking beer anymore. You're drinking red wine.
Rosé. All this sort of thing.
What can I say?
What's that picture telling us? What's the meaning behind that?
So my wife and I were in New York, and we came across some street artists and liked that, and it fitted in with the colour scheme that we had. So we we quite liked it. So
what, white on white on white? You just felt that?
Yeah, we've moved since.
I want to see that in the South Stand, Paul, on Saturday.
Yeah. You want to see it in the South Stand?
Yeah, I want to see that in the South Stand. I want to see the Bichetti out banner at the back, And is that a violin or a guitar below it?
Violin.
Violin.
For our purposes, probably better a violin.
Oh, okay, we'll have that below it. That looks fantastic, mate.
Yeah.
No problem. See what I can
Guys,
do.
cheers for talking to us. Quick one prediction for you on the score. What's the score going to be on Saturday?
Pardon?
What's the score going to be? Crew at home.
I think Orient will win 3-1, but I think Chris Dagnall will score for Crew.
Okay.
I'm going to go 2-1 Orient.
Perfect. All right, guys. Cheers. We'll hold you to it. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. What do you think about that? 2-1 and 3-1?
I think we might, after Hartlepool, we might scrape a win. We might sort of get through 1-0. We weren't scoring until Saturday. Scored 3 goals, and that has been the problem. And the home form is the problem. I mean, being serious, we are starting to play better football, but on the serious side, we've got an Italian manager that apparently can't speak English, so he can't seem to communicate with the players.
He's got a translator in,
so he waves a lot. The hand movements look good.
He looks the part.
Oh, he looks the part. With the scarf, the hand movements, and the Italian language, he looks the part. But unfortunately, I think so. Yeah. I mean, we could have helicopters or planes landing with the hand movements.
He'd suit Heathrow. Don't bring up Heathrow. We're not going into that on this show either. Right, we have got the results of our second poll on Twitter at FanTVUK. Thank you very much for getting involved with that. Is an English youngster's best chance of becoming an England regular a move to a bigger club? 48% yes, 52% no. Quite tight, that one. Let's have another look as well at the results. Sorry, we've got a couple of reactions, to that. 100% it does. Players who play for the smaller clubs don't really get a look in. And brilliant. There you go.
Says it all.
Never fails to amaze me how quickly people put these things together.
I know. That's taken a long time, I think.
It's amazing.
That's creative.
That is creative. It's amazing what you can do on paint nowadays, isn't it? That's from United London FC. They're friends of the show.
There you go.
With friends like that, who needs enemies? All right, we'll be back talking about Leyton Orient. Also, Kenny Ken is going to kick off in a few moments' time. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be explosive. See you in a bit.
That's complete rubbish.
Thursday night here on Fan TVs, I'm in for Justin, and normally he would go and steal a footballer's wash bag. Well, tonight we have done it a bit differently. I've stolen somebody else's wash bag. The clues so far are this Alice band. We had a guess of Gareth Bale a bit earlier on because of that, but it was not Gareth Bale, that Alice band. Then we had this, one of the best albums of all time, Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. That was your second clue. I can now reveal that the third clue of the evening is the Times. The Times. If you think you know, tweet us at FanTVUK. It's the Times. It is a Guns N' Roses CD, and it's an Alice band as well. If you think you know, then let us know on Twitter at FanTVUK. There is one more clue to go a bit later on, but try and beat us to the fourth clue. And also, we are playing Can I Have a Foul, Please? We've given you a couple of E's and a couple of U's, I think, as well. I don't know, I got distracted by that rubbish thing there. And we're going to add another vowel now to the proceedings. That didn't help at all, did it, frankly? There it is. just one eye, one eye. I love it. Like somebody's not got it yet, and then they see that and go, oh, of course.
Makes it so much easier, actually, looking at it. It really does.
Yeah, nailed it now. So I told you he was in action over the last few days in the League Cup. I can tell you he also scored. Ooh, go through your app and go and have a look at who scored in the last couple of weeks to see if you can link up to that. Did you score in the middle of the week?
Me personally, I did. Leyton Orient did, not in the League Cup. We went out in the first round, I think, didn't we?
I was talking about you.
Me personally, not this week. It's been a quiet week.
Hey, we all have them.
I know.
Mine's been a quiet 6 years. So, moving swiftly back to Leyton Orient. 20th in the league, but you won your last game. Robbie Weir, your skipper, said it's just the start. Do you believe him?
The start of what? I don't know. What do you reckon, James? The start of... start of probably just another
catastrophe.
week. Yeah, start of just another week of Leyton Orient, really.
Start of another 8-game.
Yeah, just another 8-game.
Win,
you know, to sign another manager. We due one any day now. He's been there 3 weeks, Cavasin.
I think the players know that the manager's going to change like every week, every month, so they have to take a bit of responsibility in themselves. So when they step out onto that pitch, have it belief themselves. They can't get the manager to tell them because he speaks in Italian. So
yeah, that's it. So you need some strong characters in the dressing room. Do you think you're lacking those?
Yes. we've got a couple. We had a fantastic side a couple of years ago when we made Wembley, and that side got broken up. That's actually, again being serious about it. That's the sad part of it. A couple of years ago we were a really united club, and we're not now. We're not.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Remember the days when we were playing Arsenal in like FA Cup?
A couple of years ago, drew 1-1 with them, and like I say, made Wembley in the playoffs, and a couple of kicks away, and. Now we're trying to save ourselves from going into the conference.
It is mad in football how quickly these things can change, especially once you drop out of that top flight as well.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. I mean, since we dropped out of the top flight in 1962, it's been downhill.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
I mean, League Two is just hoofball. It's just like you've got to be physical. It's no playing along the floor. And
really?
Our team, we play along the floor, so we struggle a bit. So
I imagine your new Italian manager's never seen anything like it.
I don't know what he's watching. I don't know what he's seen at the moment. I mean, I don't know. But,
I think he's playing like football manager.
Football manager.
Yeah.
That's where our chairman plays. He likes that. Our chairman and our chief scout, Rob Gagliardi. Is it Rob Gagliardi?
I don't know.
The guy that was trying to, he was trying to warm up goalkeepers a couple of seasons ago, and the goalkeepers, that's why we were letting goals in. They never got to save a shot in the warm up because he kept kicking in the stands.
What, your scout was warming up goalkeepers?
Yeah, well, he's been a scout. What else has he been? He's been a scout, translator.
He was staff recruitment, wasn't he?
That's right, staff recruitment. Yeah, he's been... No, left back, actually. That wash bag, actually, could have been our left back from a couple of years ago. The one he nicked from Harrods. Andrea Dessina, the ex-Liverpool guy. Yeah, came to us on...
Yes, he did.
Yeah, came to us on £130,000 a week or something, and then he got found stealing stuff out of Harrods.
Yeah,
I think we lost... Was it lost home to Hartlepool or something? And then he got found. I mean, I know losing at Hartlepool's bad, but you don't have to go pilfering out of Harrods.
Yeah, that's it.
You ain't going to find a win in there.
No, you're not. No,
certainly not for the O's.
Definitely not. I mean, we used to, our players used to, they get caught shoplifting from Primark, but since that new chairman's come in, it's now, that's right, we've gone up. Yeah, we have. It's
up in the world.
I know, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
brilliant.
It's a sign of the times. It is. I've completely forgotten that Dawson went to you. Yeah, he scored against Manchester United at Old Trafford.
He did, scored a brilliant goal. And what did he do for us? We had that volley.
Conceded about 20 goals?
He had that volley, didn't he? volley from the halfway line that he tried, and that was about it.
Well, didn't that hit Boucher on the head?
That was probably going for the chairman again. Or, you know,
I went to see Liverpool away at Fratton Park once, and Dawson was playing left back, and he did this. He rolled the ball out to look up to cross. And the ball just kept on rolling out of touch. And when he looked back down to go and cross it, it was a throw-in.
He was a good player. He was a good player, but when he came to us, he came for the money.
Yeah.
He came for the money that we were splashing around.
He just conceding goals.
Yeah, we started.
That's his main aim.
You know, he was awful. Terrible
player. Sorry about him. A couple of other players that are no longer with you. We touched on Dagnall earlier, Chris Dagnall.
Yes. Yep.
Is it written that he scores against you this weekend?
It was written that anyone scores against Leyton Orient, whether he played for us or not. But yeah, I reckon he'll probably get one.
Yeah, he'll probably get one.
Yeah, definitely. If not two, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, he's a goal scorer at lower league level. You know, and it'd be nice to see him back.
Very reliable.
Yeah, because he's one of the old guard from a couple of years ago. But
get a good reception, will he?
I think he will, Chris Dagnall, yeah.
Dunno.
Yeah.
Made us lose in the Wembley Cup final. But,
yeah, he missed one of the penalties.
Yeah.
So, but I think with the team we've got at the moment and everything going on down there, he'll probably still get a good reception. Yeah.
Probably want him back, don't you?
More than likely, yeah.
Dean Cox as well. So
what can you say?
He went to Crewe, am I right in saying? But he's scored for Burgess Hill Town.
He's playing for Burgess Hill because the stupid thing was he left after transfer deadline day. I mean, only at Orient could that happen at the moment. And you can't sign for another league club until January. So he signed for Crawley and training with Crawley. And he's playing for Burgess Hill. Scored the other night, scored on Tuesday. Which you would expect him to do, but...
So he'd rather play for Burgess Hill Town than Leyton Orient?
There was a little bit about that he engineered a move away himself, but again, it's down to the chairman, is that, you know, there was a move on for Northampton, he said he didn't want to go there, and then deadline day passes, and then you hear the next morning that he's then gone. It's bizarre.
What you don't understand is, like, LOFC fans, it's like, you've got your best player there, and, like, after there's transfer deadline day, he gets rid of him. Surely you want to get some money from him. He's
I know, you
a decent player.
You could have.
If you're going to sell him with
in the old
a bit
days,
of money.
Barry Hearn might have sold him for a few quid, and that's a criticism people labelled at Barry Hearn. This guy doesn't need the money, so he makes his own confidentiality agreement, and that's it.
So rather than Barry Hearn selling all your players for money, you've got a new chairman who sells you players for no money.
Yeah, just sells them when they go and play for Burgess Hill.
What the hell's next? So your men's team struggling. Yep. Your ladies' team?
Ladies' team are doing fantastic.
Your ladies' team played 10, won 10, scored 66.
I know.
In 10 games.
And they were let in now for, I think, 820 minutes or something.
We're watching the wrong football,
minutes.
okay?
I know, I'm going to start watching the ladies.
That is bizarre, though, the discrepancy of that.
And the youth team, actually, as well, to be fair, our youth team, they haven't lost, the under-18s haven't lost since January, going back into last season. So all we need to do is find young ladies, put them together and...
But surely you're thinking, like, if the squad's not doing good in the first team, surely you think of enrolling some of those youth players.
Yeah.
As they're doing so
Without
well.
chairman, it probably won't be long. It probably won't be long before one of the ladies is, but fair play to them. One of the ladies is
playing in the men's team.
Yeah, coming in the left back.
Won't mind kissing them on the mouth, will he?
He love it. Being Italian.
Let's launch the third poll of the evening on Twitter at FanTVUK. It's Britain's greatest exports: Kevin Keegan, Steve McManaman, David Beckham, or Gareth Bale. Let us know on Twitter. And also, if you have any other suggestions as well, then you can tweet us at FanTVUK. And also, while we've got you here, we have a little reminder of the last time that you appeared on Fan TV.
Oh, fantastic.
Let's have a watch.
Let's have a watch.
Matt, I'm so sorry. Are you out dogging by any chance?
I'm waiting to pick my daughter up from Browning.
It's just absolutely... I think I can see a Ford Cortina in the background.
No, that's not an old Ford Fiesta.
It's just outrageous. Matt, is that your mucky window I can see?
That is, mate, yeah. I don't even clean my car in ages.
Matt, I understand. I can see the reflection of the headlights in your glasses.
I know, yeah.
It's absolutely outrageous.
That's a really posh house.
That wasn't me, actually. I'm going to say now that wasn't me. That was my brother.
Your identical twin brother.
That was my identical twin brother.
Yeah. Your glasses were steamed up. You're always having a good time.
I tell you, it was fantastic. I tell you what, I've said to Justin, you know, on a need-to-know basis, I'll let him know the details. Direct message Twitter. It's an exclusive car park as well.
Oh, is it?
Exclusive, yeah.
Is it? Yeah. I'll tell you what, if I close my eyes as well, you could be Sean Dyche.
I could be as well. I know. I am actually, and this is true, I'm actually a football coach and I've been coaching a week.
Oh, really?
I've been coaching the F2 skills.
Oh, really?
I won't mind Billy and Jez's money, but I've been coaching F2 skills down at Sunbury. Yeah. And I had 28 kids today. And with 28 kids running around going mad, the voice tends to go a bit after a couple of hours. So,
oh, really? So you're even more Sean Dyche today?
I am, yeah. God knows what some of the parents will actually say if they're watching this and they know the coach is dogging on a Thursday. But the kids won't be coming back tomorrow.
I'm sure people have taken away coaching badges for less.
I think they more than likely probably have. I've branded some sort of Jimmy Savile afterwards, but there you go.
Oh, God. I'd watch a Louis Theroux documentary on you. I'd watch that, to be fair. Right, we've got a minute to go into the break. It's been eventful.
Exactly.
It's been memorable, I think is the word. Thank you for coming on the sofa with us. Just quickly, I want a couple of predictions. What are you going to do this season? If you were to give me a position in the league that you're going to finish this year?
That was voice right there, mate.
Voice going again.
Voice going there, yeah.
Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche, here we go.
Could be a manager. Could be a manager.
If we get going, I think mid-table's very high if you're thinking about that, but I think we're in a relegation battle. I think
really?
20. I think like 20.
Relegation battle, you're going to survive?
I don't think we will. If we yet again being serious, if we do get involved in one, we won't survive. We won't survive. We will. James is completely right. We will. He'll sack there's a rumour going around that this guy only had 5 games, possibly, and then he could walk out. And that's the way it goes. But if we're in a relegation battle, we haven't got.
We've got to take a break, but that's sad to hear. I hope you guys do stay up. Been a pleasure. Right, we're going to take a break. Stay with us on Fan TV. Cheers, guys. Well, that was eventful. Somehow we are still on the air, but the Leyton Orient fans have left to go back to the nearest car park. And right now, let's get another couple of fans on here. They're playing each other this weekend. It's West Ham and Everton fans. Come on, here we go. Hello, chaps. Nice to meet you. How you doing? All right. How you doing? All right.
Sweet.
Yeah, good. Take a seat. Welcome to the lime green sofas. Thank you for coming on with us. I hate to start with it, but it's the elephant in the room. We've got to talk about the scenes last night at the London Stadium, Olympic Stadium, whatever they're calling it nowadays. Did you see the footage?
Only a couple of clips, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty alarming stuff. 7 arrests. Just a question I've got for you. These fans that were there last night, do you see them for the rest of the season? Or are these guys that turn up when you draw Chelsea in the League Cup looking for trouble?
Well, I mean, if they get a ban, then no, we won't see them for the rest of the season. No, but
or ever again.
No, to be honest, man, it's sort of like it's a difficult one. Like, how many arrests was it? You're saying 7?
7
out of 60,000 people. Really? Do you know what I mean? The percentages are there saying that there's not really much going on. Like 7 people out of 60,000 people ain't really much of a big deal. Problem is, the media's blown it all up. They're taking it all out of proportion, making it look like World War III. If it's going off, people, no one got hurt, no one died, nothing happened really. A couple of drunk fans started screaming at each other, pointing at each other, going ah. The media taking a load of pictures, made it look like much worse than it really was.
We got some pictures which we'll show while we're talking here as well. I mean, I take your point, and
if you had that same picture without the police in it, it's just a normal game. It's propaganda. They make it look a lot worse. All right, fair enough. He's in the middle. but he's Chelsea. He's Chelsea. He ain't West Ham. And it's all been about West Ham. It's been West Ham, this hooligans. Oh, the 1970s are back. What? Because a few people started shouting at each other. Come on, let's get a grip in it. Do you know what I mean?
Throwing coins.
Throwing coins. Oh, but it happens everywhere. It always happens. You always see things. You see it in the Liga. You see it in the Italian League. You see it in the English leagues all the time. Problem is, everyone's putting the blame onto the fans. Oh, West Ham fans are hooligans. Oh, they're this, they're that. One is obviously it takes 2 to tango.
I'm with you on that. There was 5,000 Chelsea fans in there tonight
and they was on it. And before the game, there was a lot of stuff on Twitter, a lot of stuff on Facebook about Chelsea firms, the headhunters, all this other, whatever they want to call themselves. They were starting saying, "Oh, you're famous ICF. We're going to come down, and there's going to be bloodshed." So already it was fired up because of the Chelsea lot starting it and giving it a good go before the game and riling things up. But you got to understand, it is a London derby. He's saying that it gets people's blood pumping. It does. People would like to have a drink before the game. They like to get right up for it. It's not like a normal little game in the league against, I don't know, Leyton Orient or something. But it's a big game. It's a proper game. People are fired up. They want it to happen. And the problem with it all is the security of the stadium. So I mean, they're all putting it on us. They're putting it on the West Ham. They're the fans. They're the problem. It ain't. If any derby, call it a London derby, it could be Tottenham, Arsenal.
But I've never seen scenes like that at Arsenal versus Tottenham.
This is because they're blaming it on fans. What I'm trying to say is it's not the fans, it's the stadium. We've got a concourse just above. There's away fans there, and then there's home fans there, and there's a concourse where you can all meet up and you can all get out at the same route. There's no security there. They have security between the stands and between the seats. But there's a concourse, which I think if you saw it, looked in the footage, you could see it. They was all gathering in this sort of concourse, which was then making the fans below in the seats start going, brrr. But the problem is they haven't got the right security. They've got a little bit that separates the fans. All right, great, that's going to work for however many minutes. It got to, I think it was the 80th minute, something like that, where they all started kicking off and going off. Because that concourse where people start to leave is all joined. There is no security.
But there was trouble in a League Cup game a few years ago, West Ham versus Millwall.
I was there.
Fans running on the pitch and ugly scenes that night as well. My question is, do you see what I mean? Is that are these guys proper West Ham fans, or are these guys that turn up and they are basically hijacking a sport for their own game?
It's just you've got your generations of fans. You've got your old school fans that have grown up through the 60s, the 70s, 80s, where there was a bit of violence and that. And then when before games, if there becomes a bit of banter between firms where one's going, "Oh, you ain't what you are," it does get to the old generation that were through all the ICF and all them sort of days. It gets to them in there that, "Oh, we need to show them what's matter." They are fans. Of course, they love the game. They're not there just to fight. Otherwise, they could be any fans. It's not like that. But the newer generations, my generations, are the ones just down below it. We're not going out and fighting and having tear-ups. If you look at most of it, it's either old geezers that used to be part of a firm and are still clinging onto it, or it's young boys that feel like shaking their hands and going like this makes them a bigger person. It's not. It's a small minority of our fans. Like you said, there were 7 people arrested from 60,000 people. Can you really blow it up to make it look like we're back in the 70s? I don't think so. There was no fights, there was no injuries, there was no real problems other than a bit of shouting, and that's what happens in football.
Yeah.
You have banter, you want to have a give it to the other fans. That is not. I like being at the stand and we go, oh. I like doing that. I not necessarily want to fight, of course, but it is part of the game, and it is a lot of banter, and I think it's been blown out of proportion. It's just it's a lot of drunk people having a laugh, I think, myself. But
yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the age is spot on. The pictures, everyone I saw was about 60 years old last night, I have to admit, and same with the Millwall game as well. We will talk a bit about that later on. We'll talk about your book and Everton as well in a few moments. But right now, it's time for Kenny Ken to kick off.
That's complete rubbish.
I love those. They're either really rubbish or really good. That's one of the good ones. Oh, here he is. Kenny Ken, how you doing, mate? All right?
How you doing, Toby? How you doing? I can see you've got some West Ham fans and Everton fans. Oh, right, Rick, how are you, son?
Saturday, mate, sweet.
Yeah, nice to see you.
And
you know, like I said, you're doing well in a cup. You can't win at home, though, even though you've got a free stadium, mate.
We can't win at home. I think we just won at home, no?
To be fair, they did win.
Was it not 2 in a row that we won at home, is it? Oh, right, sorry,
I don't know, Rick, but the thing is, Rick, mate, you got a nice little free stadium, but you're nowhere near, you know, replicating what you did last season. I think there's a bit of a gap between Arsenal and West Ham, but then again, that's normal service, isn't it, son?
You've got to give us time. We're having a bit of teething problems, obviously. You remember the switch to the Emirates? I think, were West Ham the first team to beat you at the Emirates, weren't they? I think they was, weren't they? Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, between beating us, between all that stuff, you got relegated, didn't you? You had to get to back in the Premiership through the playoffs, didn't it? For a Big Sam. Played good football, by the way. I needed a pillow, didn't I, to watch you lot play.
Kenny, we've only got 4 minutes to go until the ad break, so it's that time of the week where we let you rant and get whatever you want to get off your chest. What is it this week?
Right, this week, it's a biggie. He's born in 1971. He's born in Cork. It's Roy Morris Keane. He's in the dock this time. Now, a lot of you people who know Roy Keane think he's a man of principle. You remember he's a marauding midfielder for Man United, Nottingham Forest, and the Republic of Ireland. But one thing everyone realises about Roy, he's got principles. For instance, he had so many principles that he managed to get himself chucked out of the World Cup squad in 2002 in Japan. He even lost his career at Man United when he kicked off in the video. And that's one thing I like about him. I used to always admire Roy about his principles, even though he was quite a shocking manager at Sunderland and at Ipswich Town. And then I picked up his autobiography, you know, written by the odious Eamon Dunphy. I don't know if any of you lot know him. He's very big in Ireland, RTE, bit of a, you know what, but I won't say it because it's past the watershed anyway. But thing about Roy Keane, he started slagging off people who are TV pundits. He was saying about how people on TV, they talk a lot of rubbish, and they say as it is. And I thought, you know what, Roy? I've got a lot of respect for you, son, because I always thought that someone like you always had a bit of principles, because you, Roy, will never forsake your principles on that, will you? Then all of a sudden, a few years down the line, I was watching the Champions League. Who was one of the pundits? It was Roy Keane. I mean, this is the geezer now who says that he'll never, ever become a pundit. But all of a sudden, just like his mate Rio Ferdinand and Paul Scholes, who never used to say something, he's on TV. Now, why would Roy forsake his principles like that? And I thought, oh dear, let me just go and get you something. Just hold on 2 seconds. Let me tell you now. Right? That was brilliant. Right. Whenever ITV throw a bit of this in Roy's face, all his principles can go and take a running jump. Because I'll tell you one thing about Roy Keane. He is no different to a cult leader, a Davidian cult leader like David Koresh. When everyone goes and like one of their enforced fasts, Roy Keane is the sort of person who'll be eating a Mars bar around the corner whilst everyone's starving to death. Roy, I've got your number, son, Mossy. Next week, I'm going to have someone else.
That was it. There we go. Kenny Ken kicks off. Roy Keane was the victim of your chagrin this week, Kenny Ken. Any ideas who you've got storing next week, or are you going to keep it a secret?
I'm going to keep it a secret, man. I've done Karen Brady already, and I've put her on the dock. And what happened? I set her a task. You know, like I said to make sure that the EFL game went nice and safe. She only had one job. What happens?
I agree with him.
He did say in his rant 2 weeks ago, he said, right, you've got one job, Karen. This is your chance to prove yourself. Keep that game safe and look how it went. Kenny Kane, I think you were spot on as ever, mate. Spot on as ever in your own inimitable fashion. You were. Thanks for making the effort. Thanks for dressing up for us, mate.
It's all about money, isn't it?
That was Kenny Kane kicks off. Same time next week. Same time next week.
That's complete rubbish.
Doesn't hold back our Kenny Kane. Doesn't hold back our Kenny Kane. Look, we're going to just take it to the break talking about last night. I don't want to. I think it's been talked about so much today. Is there a solution to this? I mean, I look at these stewards, and I was at the Golovkin-Kelbrook fight a few months back, and there was a massive fight in front of me, 30 people all brawling, and there was 2 stewards there, you know, still spots, still learning how to shave, in high-vis jackets, earning £7 an hour. What's inspiring them to go and jump in and stop that kind of stuff?
Nothing, really. I've seen it in a couple of interviews that the stewards have said if there is violence or anything, we're not going to stop them. Which is, I'd be the same. Like, if I'm, regardless of how much they're getting paid, I don't know what they're getting paid, but like, they're not police. They're there to stop certain things. If someone's smoking in the ground or someone's standing, they tell them what to do. They're not there to get in fisticuffs with a load of hooligans that want to have a row. So I don't blame the security. The security do their job. They stop people from doing the normal things. It's the police that need to be stopping, because it's crime. They're crimes. What they're doing is crimes. It's not there for the security. It's there for the police. And yeah, they upped it a little tiny bit and said, oh, we've got police there, but it clearly weren't enough. The fact is, the concourse between the away fans and the home fans is open ground. If they want to walk there together, they'll walk there together regardless. So they need to cut that section off. Yeah. The away fans cannot have access to the home fans and vice versa. That needs to be stopped. If that was stopped, then there'd be no problems. But
yeah, I agree. I mean, it all boils down to the fact that it's not a football stadium. It wasn't designed for fans to go separate ways. Everyone was meant to walk out together saying, how good was that triple jump?
And that's why it don't work.
We've got to take a quick break, but no, I think you're spot on. Right, after the break, we will move on to the focus of this weekend, Everton and West Ham, and we'll talk about your book as well in a few moments' time. So stay with us. Don't go anywhere. It's Fan TV. Hi there, welcome back to Fan TV. We're going to preview the West Ham and Everton game this weekend in a sec, but right now let's review one of the games from last night, the big one, the Manchester derby in the League Cup. We've got David, our Man City fan, on Skype. David, are you there? Hello, sure. David. David. I mean, I'm glad it's after Watershed. You're showing us an awful lot of skin there, David. And we'll be speaking to David at the same time next week. So thank you for that. David, thank you very much. I love it, mate. None of the zips on your jacket work. I love it. I love it.
I do indeed.
You're back in the man cave. What did you make of the game last night? You rather put out your reserves more than Manchester United did. Was it to be the expected the result as soon as you seen the lineups?
Well, first of all, I've got to be magnanimous. I've got to congratulate Man United on winning their cup final. They're obviously a bit confused because they were playing on a Wednesday night, not tonight. Yeah, we did put out a weakened team, which surprised a lot of the fans. There's 8,000 fans there for City. Disappointed to lose, obviously, but I think it's a marker that Pep's saying League Cup is the least of his priorities, as it is for most of the Premier League teams. But it was a telling indictment that United felt they had to go full strength. After that 4-0 mauling at Chelsea, I think Mourinho was desperate for the win, whereas Pep's taking probably a look at a larger picture, a broader landscape, and we've got Premier League and we've got Barcelona on the horizon in the coming days.
I agree. I don't think the League Cup was a priority for Man City, but you were playing Manchester United, the biggest fixture that you could possibly have, and you hadn't won in 5, now not won in 6. Wouldn't it have been nice to get a win? Would it have been a great confidence boost winning last night?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to deny we didn't like losing at Manchester United. Of course we didn't. But it's like I've said on this programme time and time again, we have to trust Guardiola's judgment. Whatever that may be, it was disappointing. We didn't want to lose to them. And in fairness, they only just edged by us with everything that they had to throw at us. But we look at the longer-term future. We look at, as I say, Premier League and Champions League and see how that fares. And I think Pep will be judged very favourably at the end of the season. I've actually written an article this evening on Read But Never Read, saying that City should show Pep the door, but then make sure that it's gone a dead latch and triple vaulted, because that guy isn't going anywhere.
I know you are a massive Guardiola fan from speaking to you before. I mean, it has to be said, for all the crisis, I looked at the league table this morning and Man City are top. So it's not, there's worse crises to have, isn't there? I mean, we've got a West Ham fan who I'm sure would love to be top of the league right now. Do you think that's it long term? The League Cup is probably a blessing in disguise going out last night?
Well, it sounds like it's sour grapes, but it could well be, because when we won it last year, it would mean that we'd have 5 more fixtures. That's possible injuries, it's possible fatigue. And I'm not dissing the League Cup, because it's great when you win it. We love beating Liverpool on penalties last February. But as I say, we've got bigger fish to fry, whereas perhaps Manchester United haven't.
And this weekend, quickly preview that. Tough fixture, Tony Pulis. It's always going to be well organised, well drilled. You're away at West Bromwich Albion. Hopeful about that?
Yeah, funny enough, West Brom's a good hunting ground for City. We've played and won there very often, very recently. And Pulis, yeah, he's a tough taskmaster with his defence, but we seem to have a way of undoing Pulis's teams, as we did with Gillingham and Stoke, and I think we will do again on Saturday. And having rested some of our top players, we really ought to be winning that game, so Pep doesn't have a 7-game winless streak.
Last question before I let you go as well. John Stones was at fault for the goal against Southampton on the weekend. I read somewhere that Manchester City have had more unforced defensive errors than anyone else in the league. Is there an argument that Guardiola, his tactic of playing out from the back, he's always done it with teams that are good enough to play out from the back? You've now got Bakary Sagna and Kolarov doing it, not Dani Alves.
Well, it's an evolution thing. I mean, we're talking about keeping that door closed and keeping Pep at City for a long, long time. He needs a couple of transfer windows to really get the defence sorted. You can't do it all in one go.
John Stones was a £50 million signing, was he not?
John Stones is a class player. I think he'll be coming the captain. He'll be one of the world's greatest defenders. Thank you, Mr. West Ham man, having a guffaw.
You say behave, you don't agree.
He's a class player, and he'll make mistakes as a young player, and people forget just because he's got a big price tag. But he's going to be a great player, and he's already been impressive for City. But mistakes can and will happen from time to time.
Well, they will when you've got John Stones at the back, mate.
You're not a fan at all?
No, I've never have been a fan of him. I think it's a waste of space, especially for 50 million.
Well, you had him at Everton. What did you make of John Stones?
He had a difficult season last year. It didn't help him that he was playing under a manager who didn't really place much priority on defending in Martinez. Ironically, now Koeman's there is a manager he probably would have learned from working under. Talented, made lots of mistakes last year. His confidence was pretty much shot really by the end of the season.
Yeah.
But for Everton, from an Everton point of view, Ashley Williams, in terms of the here and now, is probably a better bet if you want a bit of solidity. But obviously City are looking to the future and building something with Guardiola.
I bet the 50 million helped as well, didn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Not a bad deal. Thank you, David, mate. Quick prediction, the scoreline on against West Brom?
2-0 or 2-1 to City.
Perfect. David, always good to hear from you, mate. Enjoy the weekend.
Cheers, bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Right, let's get to Everton. Not 1 in 5 in all competitions, which Man City, you've got in the same boat on that one. Is the honeymoon period over for Ronald Koeman?
Yes, probably. I mean, they won 4 games sort of early on in the season, and if you look at the teams they beat, who are Stoke, Sunderland, West Brom, Middlesbrough, they've not beaten a top team yet. True with Spurs at the opening day, where they were sort of hanging on, hung on against Palace, hung on to Man City. It's an improvement on last year, because last year they wouldn't have hung on in those games. Last year they had such a soft centre against most teams under Martinez, and so obviously Koeman's come in and instilled a bit of backbone.
Plus you got rid of Stones.
David's not even here to argue with you anymore.
No. But I mean, last year the home fixture against West Ham really was almost the nadir. They completely collapsed.
I had a good old bet on that as well. Loved it.
2-0 up with 12 minutes left.
I had the bet on at 2-0. I put West Ham to win, and it was something silly like 33 to 1. I put 20 quid. I was like, oh, it was lovely. Sorry to rub it in.
Brought yourself a shiny new hat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was times where it did get quite ugly under Martinez, especially after how brilliant his first season was. I didn't see it coming. Ronald Koeman said something in the week that I couldn't agree with more. He said Ross Barkley is no longer a young talent. He's 22 years old, which in football terms nowadays, they're breaking into the team at 17, 18, 19 nowadays. They're normally a key part of the team by about 20. 120 appearances for Everton. It's about time that he started stamping his authority on more games, isn't it?
Stones wasn't the only young player who suffered last year. I mean, Barkley's confidence evaporated really. The crowd, there was a real disconnect between the fans and
which isn't something you've associated with Everton over the years.
It happened last season, and it was really awful going to Goodison last year. Barkley, you're right, he hasn't come on as people hoped for. He's a young English player, so maybe unreasonable expectations are heaped on the shoulders. But he still sometimes...
You'd expect him to have got into a bad England team by now, wouldn't you? I thought by this point he'd be sitting on 30 caps, 40 caps.
Would you not see there's a pattern with that? That they obviously, we get these young talents, they have massive prospects, they have massive potential, and the media closes in on them. Just like Rashford, they're like, oh my God, he's amazing, he's the next big thing for England, blah, blah, blah. So then I feel like the senior national squad feel under pressure to then pick those players. So then these young players from 18 to 21 are in the senior squad, but they're not playing in the senior squad. They're there, they're going along for the fun, they get the coach trip and they do all their bits and bobs, but they're not playing. I always feel that it'd probably be better for them years, 18 to 21, all right, they're good prospects and they're good potential. That's what they are, they're good prospects and good potential. They need to be in the under-21 squad, they need to be gaining tournament experience, they need to be gaining international experience, and not just sitting on the coach and watching the senior players. All right, okay, you can get a lot from a senior player, but there's only so much you can get. They're not getting the experience of playing international football. They're just sort of in the peripheral of it.
I do worry about Marcus Rashford as well. I hope we don't give him too much too soon. I want to talk about this. A better time for Everton, would you say? Let's give it a plug. Give it a good plug. Give it a good old plug.
Where are we?
Here we go. Literally, it's called Here We Go. Turn this way. There we go. Camera over there.
Here we go.
So talk us through it.
Here We Go is it's a collection of interviews, sort of long chapter-length interviews with a good number of the characters who were kind of part of that golden era in Everton's history in the 1980s. People from Neville Southall, Kevin Ratcliffe, Pat van den Hauwe, Gary Lineker, sort of some of the bigger names, Adrian Heath, to a couple of the unsung heroes who fans haven't. Obviously, we've had 30 years to talk about the last championship-winning team, sadly, but a few of the unsung heroes who we haven't really heard from, in that time.
Any that stand out? Any real anecdotes that stand out from this?
Pat van den Hauwe has led quite a colourful life.
Is he?
Yes. You probably remember he was the bad boy of the team, really. I mean, some of this stuff he was getting up to is incredible. That he led a successful career as a professional footballer, and then he went off to South Africa. When he was at Everton, he used to disappear off to kind of pubs on the Dock Road in Liverpool and go missing for 3 or 4 days at a time, just to get away from things. There was a period where he was out for a while after what would be called an altercation, which involved his leg being cut in a brawl in a pub. And he came back and scored the goal that won them the league that year. Then he went to South Africa for 20 years. He went missing, as he put it. But he's now back at Everton working for the community programme.
Oh, really?
So it's sort of come full circle for him. And he works with asylum seekers sort of in the Kensington area of the city. So, I mean, that's a great story,
yeah,
the Brandon House
and
story.
Neville Southall, what a legend.
No, Neville's a great fellow. Maybe he speaks his mind too much to be in football today. You know, he's not a politician.
No.
He works with children who have been excluded from mainstream education. I went down to the school he's at in South Wales, completely different from the life of a footballer that he once led. But he always was a bit different. You know, they had these, you know, they were a team of big drinkers, shall we say. Whereas he just had a cup of tea and sat and watched and listened.
When I look at Neville Southall, I think there's a guy that puts it away. There's a guy that likes to drink. We're going to take a break, but where can people find this? What's the best way to get hold of this?
Well, it's available online on Amazon, the publisher's website, and all good bookstores in the Merseyside area.
And some naff ones as well. Well, thank you very much, Simon. Take it back. Right, there you go. Go and give it a Google. Here we go. Very quickly, before we head to the break, we've got a picture as our final wash bag clue. I'm going to put this back down. Our final wash bag clue. We've had the Alice Band, the Guns N' Roses CD. There is a final clue there. I mean, if you don't know by now, then you need to hang your head in shame, frankly. Let us know on Twitter @FanTVUK if you think you know the answer, and tweet us as well @FanTVUK with anything you want to say to the West Ham and Everton fans on the sofa, including a prediction of the big game, the early kickoff on Sunday. Let us know. We'll see you in just a sec. Welcome back to the final stretch of Fan TV tonight. Let's go through the games that we've been playing. First of all, the wash bag clues. We had the Times, we had a Alice Band, we had a Guns N' Roses CD, and we had a picture of Ashton Gate, Bristol City's ground as well. We had a few guesses on Twitter @FanTVUK. Let's have a look at some of those. Joe Allen. No idea where you've got that from, Simon. Any idea?
Alice Band.
Alice Band, yeah, I guess. And maybe he likes Guns N' Roses and reads the Times.
Maybe he's from Bristol.
Any more? David Beckham. I think it's the Alice Band's the throwing people of you, isn't it? It's the, yeah. And have we got another one here as well? We have a winner, I'm being told. There we go. Is it I am JLC, Justin Lee Collins? It was indeed Justin Lee Collins. Well done to Mummy White. Well done, Mummy White. Well done. Well done. Well done. That's Lucy's mum. Lucy, friend of the show, Crystal Palace fan. That's her mum. Well done, Lucy's mum, on getting that. It was indeed Justin Lee Collins. And I saw the hashtag Tarrant in there as well. That's more like it. We could get more of those going on this show. Also, we've had a winner in the Can I Have a Foul, Please? So this is the clue that you had so far. These are the vowels that we gave you. Oh, thank God. First we'll show you that. Brilliant. And then we'll reveal the clue. So that's what we gave you. I mean, fair play to somebody who got them off there. It is actually one of your boys.
Oh, no, it is already.
You know who it is there?
Yeah.
There we go. We've added those. There's an A.
Yeah. Papa.
Yeah. You've got it. You got it.
Kouyaté.
Yeah, spot on, Cheku Kouyaté. Well done to whoever got that in on Twitter. I don't know if we have the tweet. Do we have the tweet? Yes. Well done.
Lovely.
I'm told as well that Robson got that off the first two vowels as well.
Nice.
How the hell have they done that? Got it after the E's. Well done, Robson. You've obviously found your calling. Can I have a foul, please? The wash bag, by the way, was Justin Lee Collins as well, who will be back here next Thursday, I'm pretty sure. So there we go. There he is. That's a caricature of Justin, of his old friend Alan there. It's very generous, that leaf. Very generous. And he's much hairier than that in real life as well. Much hairier than that. That's our Newcastle fan, Nigel? I might have made that. Paul, sorry. Get in my ear, it's Paul. It is Paul. Thanks, Paul.
Almost.
I love you, Paul. Nigel, I don't know. Nigel, Paul, you know how it is. No, but thank you. Right, 10 minutes to go. Let's focus about this game. It's the early kickoff on the Sunday. Everton, West Ham. It's at Goodison Park, which is basically probably better for you, although your home form is going around. But
I think on current form, West Ham, I think it'll be a cagey game, as it always is at Goodison. But I think we will nick this one 1-0. I don't think it's going to be a big goal fest. That's maybe earlier in the season, West Ham might have let in a few goals, but our last 3 games have been pretty solid at defence. If it weren't for the last-minute goal at Chelsea, it would have been 3 clean sheets in a row. I don't think we really had many worries about our attack. So now that we've got our defence in shape, I'm pretty confident with the win against Everton, with their form as well. Last 6 games, they've only had 1 win, no wins in the last 5. So on current form, I think we'll nick it.
You must be gutted. Why have you got to play this West Ham? Why can't you play West Ham from 4 weeks ago?
No, I'm not gutted. Everton have a strangely good record against West Ham. I mean, I know last season they won at Goodison, but I've been to so many games at Upton Park where Everton, no matter how well either team, West Ham would play well, Everton would scrape a win somehow in the Premier League era. And Lukaku scored in all 8 appearances against them. Well, that's it.
I mean, you can basically guarantee at least 1 goal from Romelu Lukaku against West Ham. He just loves scoring against you boys.
I'm going to lay that bet for Sunday, man.
So what do you think the reasoning behind? You see quite often these records where players have a great record against certain clubs. Can you think of any rhyme or reason for that?
I don't think there is. I think it's a slightly nebulous thing, but a feeling, people just... I mean, Ian Rush had it against Everton, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Sadly. It was just a mental thing, isn't it?
Ian Rush, yeah.
I mean, when I used to play football when I was younger, if you had a good record against a team, before the game you always think, I'm going to score against these. And then obviously with that little bit of confidence...
And Lukaku's a player that does seem to thrive on confidence. When he's fully firing, he's unstoppable on his day, and then we have to wait a month to see it the next time sometimes. But certainly, I'm sure he'll turn up against West Ham. I think we've had a tweet in as well talking about Everton and West Ham. If we play like we did at Chelsea, there's no reason why we can't beat Everton.
Poor James McCartney.
There we go, James McCartney.
Lions.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? We were talking a lot about the crowd violence, and we had to talk about it. But I mean, the sad thing is, we're ignoring the fact that West Ham seem to have turned a corner since the international break, and that's not being discussed at all. But I mean, a massive result last night to knock Chelsea out of the League Cup.
I mean, I haven't really focused on the violence of the match. It's mainly the media and all these interviewers that want to sort of talk. No offence to you.
That's quite literally our job. Cheers, both of us.
I mean, I don't particularly want to talk about it because I think it was a minor thing of the game, and it was a brilliant result. I mean, Chelsea just come off the back of a 4-0 win against Man United, so they was buzzing. They had a lot of confidence. I know they made a few changes to the team, but their team on paper should still be beating a West Ham team. So it was a brilliant win, and I think taking that forward, it will be a big boost for the Everton game.
Do you think last night, I mean, I've got a theory that last night what it is that the West Ham fans missed Upton Park so much, they were trying to reduce the capacity back down to about 40,000 by ripping all the chairs out.
See, that's another thing I want to pick up on. There was one chair. One chair got broken, and they decided to go, there's 5 different pictures of one chair. We'll make it look like loads of different chairs. It was one chair.
I've never seen a chair thrown at Liverpool Everton, I'll tell you that much. No, we got another tweet as well talking about West Ham and Everton this weekend. To the West Ham fan, Ricky, as he's also known, how many goals do you think Lukaku will score against the Hammers on Sunday, right? How many?
Like I've said, I'm going to lay that bet, and I think that his run is about to come unstuck. I don't think he's going to score against us. I think we're going to get a clean sheet, and it's going to be a 1-0. What
do you make of that? First of all, let's get a scoreline prediction from you. He says 1-0.
Yeah, well, quite a negative Evertonian. There's quite a lot of us around. I don't think Everton will lose the game. It's whether they can, 1-1 or maybe sneak a 2-1 win.
Yeah, so it's 2-1, both Lukaku goals?
If he's in the mood, as you say, if he's having one of those days, which he seems to do against West Ham. So,
somebody finally scored for you, Yannick Bolasie, cost the fair bob, finally got a goal for you. What have you made of his performances so far? He's always been quite mercurial, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to Crystal Palace fans who've said, he's quite a hit and miss player. I have to say I've been more impressed than I thought I would. I mean, he's incredibly overpriced, but that's the market at the moment. He and Lukaku have combined for 4 goals now this season, 3 provided by Bolasie. I'm not sure if Lukaku strictly claims an assist for Bolasie nicking the ball off him at Burnley the other day, but no, I mean, he's done well. He was a brilliant finish, and he's the Everton's other wingers haven't really been on the game this season consistently enough. Morales, Deulofeu. So I think, I mean, I'd say 7 on 10 so far.
So it's we don't really know where either of your sides are at the moment. We had another tweet in from friend of the show, Chris Darwin, I believe, has tweeted us reacting to poll 3, which is who is Britain's greatest export. John Charles plus David Platt and Paul Gascoigne kicked off a generation of Football Italia fans. Spot on, absolute Gaza. What a legend he was over there. And with the results of poll 3 as well. David Beckham, 46%, 34% Gareth Bale. I guess Gareth Bale we can judge in a few years as well. I think he could be 98% by the end of this career around Madrid. We'll see how he does.
I suppose that they're probably grabbing that from MLS as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because he obviously went over there and smashed
it. He did very much change the face of American football. It's very true. I mean, David Beckham did have a career that he didn't deserve towards the end. Loan deals to Paris Saint-Germain and AC Milan. I'm not going into this again. I upset people saying David Beckham was the most overrated player of all time, but those loan deals he was getting by the end was purely because you got shirt sales if you signed David Beckham. Let's be honest.
Sure.
And Stephen Bannerman, only 6%. He won a Champions League and they love him at Real Madrid. I absolutely love him at Real Madrid. This is the Liverpool fan in me talking. But
scored a great goal in the final.
Yeah, great goal in the final. Yeah, he used to love the Champions League. His goal against Celtic for Liverpool as well. He picked up the ball in his own area. Oh, look, I used to love a bit of Macca. What a legend. What a legend.
Wasn't that the UEFA Cup?
UEFA Cup. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Picked it up in his own area. You've rinsed me. And you're the Everton fan. That's it, rinsed me. Wider, looking to the rest of the season, I think we both agree we don't really know where either of your clubs are at the moment. What's a good season for Everton?
Sorry, I didn't quite hear that. I think a good season. I mean, I'd love to see Everton win a cup. Sadly, they didn't prioritise the League Cup. It's been 21 years now.
I find that very odd. I saw Southampton got through, but they put out a weekend side. I look at Southampton as a team, and Everton and West Ham are both in that bracket of a team that aren't in the top 6, but could easily win the League Cup. Easily win. I'm surprised teams that go after it more.
I don't quite understand it because technically, it's the same cup as the FA Cup with a different name.
Yeah.
I mean, the same teams pretty much play.
I mean, I get the history behind the FA Cup, but at the end of the day, it's a day out at Wembley and a trophy that you get to lift over your head, isn't it? And I think for clubs like Everton, Southampton, West Ham who aren't going to win the league, let's be fair, it's a great trophy, and you get into Europe as well.
I think it's an easy way out for bigger teams to cover up their losses. I think personally, but
yeah, I think that's what Manchester United are trying to do with the team they put out last night. So you don't think? Well, the League Cup's gone, so you'd like a cup, but
I mean, Koeman's target is Europe, but I mean that's a tall order for a team who've lost to Bournemouth and Burnley this season already. I know it's still early in the season. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they finished 6th, 7th, 8th, around there. But
kind of best of the rest, if you like, best of the rest.
Sadly, for the modern Everton,
can't see that. Can't see that happening, man.
Not as high as that.
Nah, I don't think so. I think you scrape 10th, scrape it.
Fair enough. We've only got a minute to go. Quickly, there's a tweet from Kenny Ken. He wants to clear up the mix-up with his attire earlier. It wasn't me underwear. They were Arsenal shorts. Never get worried when I show my toned legs. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Kenny, for at least it was post-watershed, but it did look an awful lot like your underwear. We've got under a minute to go, but West Ham, what can they achieve this season after the very iffy start they've had?
They haven't had a terrible start, and it has sort of affected our plans for the season. But I think a top 10, I think most fans will be happy with top 10, just sort of with our first season in a new ground, getting used to it, being our home. So I wouldn't be disappointed with top 10.
I mean, the shame was we sat on here before the game on Fan TV and said what that ground's lacking at the moment is good memories.
Yeah.
And last night should have been the one.
Well, I mean,
under the lights, not Chelsea out the cup.
To the fans, it will still be a good memory. To other neutrals, they'll pick out the violence. But us, it's a good memory for me. And it's just been a few months, and everyone's expecting us to have massive memories all of a sudden. Like it's going to take years to get memories, and they've started already. So I mean, the future's bright, I think, for us.
Yeah, I think it's spot on. I think the other thing is that a lot of people have said is that sometimes you have illusions of how good Upton Park atmosphere was. There was quiet nights at Upton Park.
Loads of quiet time, and there was sometimes brawls and fights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right, that's all we have time for. Thank you very much for joining us on the lime green sofa. We will see you tomorrow when it will be Kiri Bleu. I've been Toby Tarrant, or if you've not enjoyed the show, I've been Justin Lee Hollins. Good times.
Arrest him, and off he went.
Really?
And there's a picture of him, a famous picture. He's in.
Up and he nicked the ball or something.
Oh, really? No, he didn't.
Was it not the ball?
No.